So we'll recite the Brahma Samhita now. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam Sahasrapatra Kamalam Gokulakyam Mahatpadam Tatkarnikaram Taddama Tad Anantamsha Sambhavam Karnikaram Mahadyantram Shatkonam Vajrakilakam Sadanga Satpadistanam Prakrtya Purushena Cha Premananda Mahananda Rasena Vastitam Hiyat Jyoti Rupena Manuna Kama Bijena Sangatam Tatkinjalkam Tadamshanam Tatpatrani Shriyamapi Chaturashram Tatparita Shetvadhipakyam Adbhutam Chatur Ashram Chatur Murtes Chatur Dhama Chatushkritam Chaturbi Purushartaischa Chaturbir Hetubir Vratam Shule Dashabhiranadham Urdhvado Digvidikshvapi Ashtabir Nidibir Jhashtam Ashtabhi Siddhibhistata Manurupaischa Dashabir Dhikpalai Paritovratam Shamair Gauraischa Raktaischa Shuklaischa Parashardasabhai Shobhitam Shakti Bhistabhi Radbhutabhi Samantata Evam Jyotirmayo Deva Sadhananda Paratpara Atma Ramasya Tashyasti Prakrtyana Samagama Mayaya Ramamanasya Naya Yogastaya Saha Atmana Ramaya Reme Tyakta Kalam Sasikshaya Niyati Sa Rama Devi Tatpriya Tadvasham Tada Tallingam Bhagavan Shambhur Jyoti Rupa Sanatana Ya Yoni Shapara Shakti Kamo Bijam Mahaddare Linga Yoni Atmika Jata Ima Maheshwari Praja Shaktiman Purusho Soyam Linga Rupi Maheshwara Tasmina Virabhul Linge Mahavishnur Jagatpati Sahasra Sirisha Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrapad Sahasrabahur Vishwatma Sahasramsha Sahasrashu Narayana Sa Bhagavan Apastasma Sanatanat Avirashit Karanarno Nidhi Sankarsanatatmakah Yoga Nidram Gatastasmin Sahasramsha Swayam Mahan Tadroma Bila Jaleshu Bijam Shankara Sannisya Haimani Andani Jatani Mahabhuta Vratani Tu Pratiyandam Evam Ekamshad Ekamshad Vishati Swayam Sahasramurda Vishwatma Mahavishnu Sanatanaha Vamanagat Srajat Vishnum Dakshinangat Prajapatim Jyotirlingamayam Shambhum Kurcha Deshad Avashrajat Ahankaratmakam Vishwam Tasmadetat Vyajayata Athatai Sri Vidhair Vesher Leelam Udvatah Kila Yoga Nidra Bhagavati Tasya Shrir Iva Sangata Sikshayam Tato Nabes Tasya Padmam Viniryayo Tannalam Hemanalinam Brahmano Lokam Adbhutam Tattvani Purvarudhani Karananani Parasparam Samavaivaya Prayogacha Vibhinnani Pratak Pratak Chichaktya Sajjamanotha Bhagavanadi Purushaha Yojayan Mayaya Devo Yoga Nidrama Kalpayat Yojayitva Tutani Eva Pravivesha Swayam Guhan Guham Pravishte Tasminstu Jivatma Pratibudhyate Sanityo Nitya Sambandha Prakrtisha Paraivasha Evam Sarvatma Sambandham Nabhyam Padmam Harerabhut Tatra Brahma Bhavad Bhuya Chaturvedi Chaturmukha Sanjato Bhagavat Chaktya Tatkalam Kila Chodita Titrikshayam Matim Chakre Purva Samskara Samskrita Dadirsha Kevalam Dhvantam Nanyat Kim Api Sarvataha उवाचा पुरतस्तस्मै तस्य दिव्य सरस्वती कामकृष्णाय गोविन्दा हे गोपीजन इति अपि वल्लभाया प्रिया वह्नेर्मन्त्रं ते दाशयति प्रियं तपस्त्वं तपयेतेन तव सिद्धिर्भविष्यति अत ते पेश सुचिरं प्रीणन् गोविन्दमव्ययम् श्वेत्वदीपपतिं कृष्णं गोलोकस्थं परात्परं प्रकृत्या गुणरूपिण्या रूपिण्या पर्युपासितं सहस्रदलसम्पन्ने कोटिकिञ्जल्कभ्रमिते भूमिश्चिन्तामणिस्तत्र कर्णिकारे महासने समासीनं चिदानन्दं ज्योतिरूपं सनातनं शब्दब्रह्ममयं वेणुं वादयन्तं मुखाम्बुजे विलासिनी गणवृतं स्वैश्वर्यंशैरभिष्टुतम् अथ वेणुनिनादस्य त्रयीमूर्तिमयी गति स्फुरन्ति प्रविवेशाशु मुखाब्जानि स्वयंभुव गायत्रीं गायतास्तस्मादधिगत्या सरोजज संस्कृतश्चादिगुणुना द्विजताम् अगमत्तत त्रया प्रबुद्धो अथ वीदिर्विज्ञाता तत्त्वसागरा तुष्टाववेदसारेण स्तोत्रेणानेन केशवम् चिन्तामणि प्रकरसद्मशुकल्पवृक्ष लक्षाव्रतेषु सुरभिरभिपालयन्तं लक्ष्मीसहस्रशतसम्भ्रमसेव्यमानं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि वेणुं क्वनन्तमरविन्ददलायताक्षं बर्हावतं समसिताम्बुदसुन्दराङ्गम् अन्दर्पकोटिकमनीयविशेषशोभं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि आलोलचन्द्रकलसत्वनमाल्यवंशी रत्नाङ्गदं प्रणयकेलिकलाविलासं श्यामं त्रिभङ्गललितं नियतप्रकाशं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि अङ्गानि यस्य सकलेन्द्रियवृत्तिमन्ति पश्यन्ति पान्ति कलयन्ति चिरं जगन्ति आनन्दचिन्मय सदुज्ज्वलविग्रहस्य गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि अद्वैतमच्युतमनादिमनन्तरूपम् आद्यं पुराणपुरुषं नवयौवनं च वेदेषु दुर्लभमदुर्लभमात्मभक्तो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि पन्ताष्टकोटिशतवत्सरसम्प्रगम्यो वायोरतापि मनसो पुनिपुङ्गवानां सोऽप्यस्ति यत्प्रपदसिम्न्यविचिन्त्य तत्त्वे गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि एकोऽप्यसौ रचयुतं जगदण्डकोटिं यच्चक्तिरस्ति जगदण्डचयाय दन्त अन्दान्तरस्थपरमाणुचयान्तरस्थं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यद्भावभावितधियो मनुजास्तथैव सम्प्राप्य रूपमहिमासनयानभूषा शुक्तेर्यमेव निगमप्रथितैस्तुवन्ति गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि आनन्दचिन्मयरसप्रतिभाविताभिस्ताभिर्य एव निजरूपतया कलाभिः गोलोक एव निवसति अखिलात्मभूतो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि प्रेमाञ्जनचूरितभक्तिविलोचनेन शन्त सदैव हृदयेषु विलोकयन्ति यं श्यामसुन्दरमचिन्त्य गुणस्वरूपं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। रामादिमूर्तिषु कलानियमेन तिष्ठन् नानावतारमकरोद्भुवनेषु किन्तु कृष्ण स्वयं समभवत् परमं पुमां यो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। यस्य प्रभा प्रभवतो जगदण्डकोटि कोटिस्वशेष वसुधादिविभूतिभिन्नं तद्ब्रह्म निष्कलमनन्तमशेषभूतं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। माया हि यस्य जगदण्डशतानि सूते त्रैगुण्यतद्विषयवेदवितायमाना सत्त्वावलम्बि परसत्त्वं विशुद्धसत्त्वं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। आनन्दचिन्मयरसात्मतया मनसु यः प्राणिनं प्रतिफलं स्मरतामुपेत्य लीलायितेन भुवनानि जयत् अजस्रं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। गोलोकनाम्नि निजधाम्नि तले च तस्य देवी महेषु हरिधाम श्रुतेषु तेषु ते ते प्रभावनिचया विहितश्च येन गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। सृष्टिस्थितिप्रलयसाधनशक्तिरेक छायेव यस्य भुवनान् निभर्ति दुर्गा इच्छानुरूपमपि यस्य सुचेष्टते स गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। क्षीरं यथा दधिविकारविशेषयोगात् संजायते न हि तथा पृथगस्ति हेतो यः सम्भूतमपि तथा समुपैति कार्यात् गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। दीपार्चिरेव हि दशान्तरमभ्युपेत्य दीपायते विवर्तहेतु समानधर्मा यस्ताद्र एव हि च विष्णुतया विभाति गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। यः कारणार्णवजले भजति स्म योग निद्रामनन्तजगदण्डसरोमकूप आधारशक्तिमवलम्ब्य परां स्वमूर्तिं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। यस्यैकनिश्वसितकालमतावलम्ब्य जीवन्ति लोमविरजा जगदण्डनाथा विष्णुर्महान् स हि यस्य कलाविशेषो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। भास्वान् यथास्म सकलेषु निजेषु तेज स्वीयं कियत् प्रकटयत् अपि तद्वदत्र ब्रह्मा य एष जगदण्डविधानकर्ता गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। यत्पादपल्लवयुगं विनिधाय कुम्भा द्वन्द्वे प्रणामसमये स गणाधिराजा विघ्नान् विहन्तुमलं यस्य जगत्त्रयस्य गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। अग्निर्मही गगनमम्बुमरुद्दिशश्च कालस्ततात्ममनसीति जगत्त्रयानि यस्माद्भवन्ति विभवन्ति विशन्ति यं च गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। यच्चक्षुरेश सविता सकलग्रहाणां राजा समस्तसुरमूर्तिरशेष तेज यस्याग्नया भ्रमति संवृतकालचक्रो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। धर्मोतपापनिचया श्रुतयस्तपांसि ब्रह्मादिकीटपतगावधयश्च जीव यद्धत्तमात्रविभव प्रकटप्रभावा गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। यस्त्व इन्द्रगोपमतवेन्द्रमहोस्वकर्म बन्धानरूपफलभाजनमातनोति कर्माणि निर्दहति किन्तु च भक्तिभाजां गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। यं क्रोधकामसहजा प्रणयादिभीति वात्सल्यमोहगुरुगौरवसेव्यभावै सञ्चिन्त्य तस्य सदृशीं तनुमापुरेते गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। श्रिया कान्ता कान्ता परमपुरुषा कल्पतरवो द्रुमा भूमिश्चिन्तामणि गणमयितोऽयममृतं कथागानं नाट्यं गमनमपि वंशी प्रियसखी चिदानन्दं ज्योति परमपि तदास्वादयमपि च स यत्र क्षीराब्धिस्रवति सुरभिव्याश्च सुमहान् निमेषार्धाख्यो वा व्रजति नहि यत्रापि समय अजे श्वेत्वा दीपं तमहं इह गोलोक इति यं वेदान्तस्ते शन्तशितिविरलचारकटिपये अतो वाचा महाविष्णुर्भगवन्तं प्रजापतिं ब्रह्मन्महत्त्वविज्ञाने प्रजासर्गे च चेन्मती पञ्चश्लोकीमिमां विद्यां वत्सदत्तां निबोध मे प्रबुद्धे ज्ञानभक्तिभ्यामात्मनि आनन्दचिन्मयीं उदेति अनुत्तमा भक्तिर्भगवत्प्रेमलक्षणा प्रमाणैस्तत्सदाचारैस्तदभ्यासैर्निरन्तरं बोधयन्नात्मनात्मानं भक्तिनपि उत्तमं लभेत् यस्याश्रेयस्करं नास्ति यया निर्वृत्तिमाप्नुयात् या साधयति मामेव भक्तिं तामेव साधयेत् धर्मानन्यान् परित्यज्य मामेकं भज विश्वसन् यादृशी सद्दा सिद्धिर्भवति तादृशी कुर्वन् निरन्तरं कर्म लोकोऽयमनुवर्तते तेनैव कर्मणा ध्यायन् मां परं भक्तिमिच्छति अहं हि विश्वस्य चराचरस्य बीजं प्रदानं प्रकृतिपुमांश मया हितं तेजैधं बिभर्षि विदे विदेहि त्वम् अतो जगन्ति ईश्वर परम कृष्ण सच्चिदानंद विग्रह अनादिरादिर्गोविन्द सर्वकारण कारणम् इति श्री ब्रह्म संहिता संपूर्णं हरि ओम्। So now we'll read the translations of the Brahma Samhita. will read five verses each. Okay. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme Godhead. He has an eternal blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, and he is the prime cause of all causes. The spiritual place of transcendental pastimes of Krishna is portrayed in the second verse. The super excellent station of Krishna, which is known as Gokula, has thousands of petals and corolla like that of a lotus sprouted from a part of its infinitary aspect, the whole of the leaves being the actual abode of Krishna. The whole of that transcendental lotus is a realm wherein dwells Krishna. It is a hexagonal figure, the abode of the indwelling, predominated and predominating aspect of the Absolute. Like a diamond, the central supporting figure of self-luminous Krishna stands as the transcendental source of all potencies. The holy name consisting of the 18 transcendental letters is manifested in a hexagonal figure with six-fold divisions. The whole of that eternal realm Gokula is the hexagonal abode of Krishna. Its petals are the abodes of gopis who are part and parcel of Krishna, to whom they are most lovingly devoted and are similar in essence. The petals shine beautifully like so many walls. The extended leaves of that lotus are the garden-like Dhamma, that is the spiritual abode of Sri Radhika, the most beloved of Krishna. The surrounding external plane of Gokula is described in this verse. There is a mysterious quadrangular place named Shvetadipa surrounding the outskirts of Gokula. Shvetadipa is divided into four parts on all the sides. The abode of Vasudeva, Sankarshna, Pradyumna and Aniruddha are separately located in each of these four parts. These four divided abodes are enveloped by the fourfold human requirements such as piety, wealth, passion and liberation, as also by the four Vedas, Rig, Sama, Yajur and Atharva Veda, which deal with the mantra and which are the basis of achievements of the fourfold mundane requirements. 10 tridents are fixed in the 10 directions, including the zenith and nadir. The 8 directions are decorated with the 8 jewels of Mahapadma, Padma, Shankha, Makara, Khachapa, Mukunda, Kunda and Neela. There are 10 protectors, Dikpalas of the 10 directions in the form of mantra. The associates of the hues of blue, yellow, red and white and the extraordinary potencies bearing the names of Vimala, etc. shine on all the sides. You want to do the next slide? You can take the mic. Take the mic. You can read it. You turn it on. Huh? Yeah. Turn it on.
The Lord of Gokula is the transcendental supreme Godhead, the own self of eternal ecstasies. He is the superior of all superiors and is busily engaged in the enjoyments of the transcendental realm and has no association with his mundane potency. Krishna never consorts with his illusionary energy. Still, her connection is not entirely cut off from the absolute truth. When he intends to create the material world, the amorous pastimes in which he engages by consorting with his own spiritual potency Rama by casting his glance at the deluding energy in the shape of sending his time energy is an auxiliary activity. The secondary process of association with Maya is described. Ramandeva, the spiritual potency beloved consort of the Supreme Lord, is the relatrix of all entities. The divine planetary portion of Krishna creates the mundane world. At creation, there appears a divine halo of the nature of his own subjective portion. This halo is divine Sambhu, the masculine symbol or manifested emblem of the Supreme Lord. This halo is the divine twilight reflection of the supreme eternal effulgence. This masculine symbol is the subjective portion of divinity who functions as progenitor of the mundane world, subject to the supreme relatrix The conceiving potency in regard to mundane creation makes her appearance out of the supreme relatrix. She is Maya, the limited, non-absolute potency, the symbol of mundane, feminine productivity. The intercourse of these two brings forth the faculty of perverted cognition, the reflection of the seeds of the procreative desire of the Supreme Lord. All offspring of the consort of the great Lord, Mahesvara, of this mundane world are of the nature of the embodiment of the mundane masculine and feminine generative organs. The persons embodying the material causal principle, the great Lord of this mundane world, Mahesvara's Sambhu, in the form of the male generating organ, is joined to this female consort, the limited energy Maya, as the efficient causal principle. The Lord of the world, Mahavishnu, is manifested in him by his subjective portion in the form of his glance. The Lord of the mundane world, Mahavishnu, processes thousands of heads, eyes, hands. He is the source of thousands of avatars in his thousands and thousands of subjective portion. He is the creator of the thousands of individual souls.
The same Mahavishnu is spoken of by the name of Narayana in this mundane world. From that eternal person has sprung the vast expanse of water of the spiritual causal ocean. The subjective portion of Sankarshana, who abides in Paravyoma, the above Supreme Purusha with thousands of subjective portions, reposes in the state of divine sleep, Yoga Nidra, in the waters of the spiritual causal ocean. The spiritual seeds of Sankarshana, existing in the pores of skin of Mahavishnu, are born as so many golden sperms. These sperms are covered with 5 great elements. The same Mahavishnu entered into each universe as his own separate subjective portions. The divine portions that entered into each universe are possessed of his majestic extension, that is, they are the eternal, universal soul Mahavishnu, possessing thousands and thousands of heads. The same Mahavishnu created Vishnu from his left limb, Brahma, the first progenitor of beings, from his right limb, and from the space between his 2 eyebrows, Shambhu, the divine masculine manifested halo. Can you read the next one?
The function of Sambhu in relation to jivas is that this universe, enshrining the mundane egotistic principle, has originated from Sambhu. Thereupon the same great personal Godhead, assuming the threefold forms of Vishnu, Prajapati, and Sambhu, entering into the mundane universe, plays the pastimes of preservation, creation, and destruction of this world. This pastime is contained in the mundane world, hence its being perverted. The Supreme Lord, identical with Mahavishnu, prefers to consort with the goddess Yoga Nidra, the constitute of his own spiritual potency, full of ecstatic trance of eternal bliss, pertaining to his own divine personality. When Vishnu, lying in the ocean of milk, wills to create this universe, a golden lotus springs from his navel pit. The golden lotus with its stems is the abode of Brahma, representing Brahmaloka and Satyaloka. Before their conglomeration, the primary elements in their nascent state remain originally separate entities. Non-application of the conglomerating process is the cause of their separate existence. Divine Mahavishnu, primal Godhead, through association with his own spiritual potency, moved Maya, and by the application of the conglomerating principle created those different entities in their state of cooperation. And after that, he himself consorted with Yoganidra by way of his eternal dalliance and his spiritual potency. By conglomerating all those separate entities, he manifested the innumerable mundane universes and himself entered into the innermost recess of every extended conglomerate, Virat Vigraha, at the time those jivas who had lain dormant during the cataclysm were awakened. The same jiva is eternal and is for eternity and without a beginning joined to the Supreme Lord by the tie of an eternal kinship. He is transcendental spiritual potency. The divine lotus of which springs from the navel pit of the Vishnu is in every way related to the spiritual tie with all souls and is the origin of four-faced Brahma versed in the four Vedas.
On coming out of the lotus, Brahma, being guided by the divine potency, turned his mind to the act of creation under the impulse of previous impressions, but he could see nothing but darkness in every direction. Then the goddess of learning Saraswati, the divine consort of the Supreme Lord, said thus to Brahma, who saw nothing but gloom in all directions, O Brahma, this mantra which Klim Krishnaya Govindaya Gopijana Vallabhaya Swaha will assuredly fulfill your heart's desire. O Brahma, do thou practice spiritual association by means of this mantra, then all your desires will be fulfilled. Brahma, being desirous of satisfying Govinda, practiced the cultural acts for Krishna in Goloka, the Lord of Svetadipa. For a long time, his meditation ran thus: there exists a divine lotus of 1,000 petals, augmented by millions of filaments, in the transcendental land of Goloka. On its wall, there exists a great divine throne on which is seated Sri Krishna, the form of eternal effulgence of transcendental bliss, playing on his divine flute, resonant with the divine sound with his lotus mouth. He is worshipped by his amorous milkmaids with their respective subjective portions and extensions, and also by his external energy, who stays outside, embodying all the mundane qualities. Then Gayatri, the mother of Vedas, being made manifest, that is imparted by the divine sound of the flute of Sri Krishna, entered into the lotus mouth of Brahma, born from himself through his 8 ear holes. The lotus-born Brahma, having received the Gayatri sprung from the flute song of Sri Krishna, attained the status of twice born, having been initiated by the supreme primal preceptor, the Godhead himself. Enlightened by the recollection of that Gayatri, embodying the 3 Vedas, Brahma became acquainted with the expanse of the ocean of truth. Then he worshipped Sri Krishna, the essence of all Vedas, with this hymn: I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor who is tending the cows, yielding all the desire in the abodes built with spiritual gems, surrounded by millions of purpose trees, always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis or Gopis. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is adept in playing on his flute, with blooming eyes, like lotus petals, with head decked with peacock's feather, with a figure of beauty tinged with the hue of blue clouds, and his unique loveliness charming millions of cupids. Can you read?
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, round whose neck is swinging a garland of flowers beautified with the moon locket, whose 2 hands are adorned with the flute and jeweled ornaments, who always reveals in pastimes of love, whose graceful threefold bending of form of Samasundara is eternally manifest. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose transcendental form is full of bliss, truth, substantially, and is thus full of the most dazzling splendor. Each of the limbs of that transcendental figure possesses in himself the full-fledged function of all the organs, and eternally sees, maintains, and manifests the infinite universes, both spiritual and mundane. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is inaccessible to the Vedas but obtainable by pure, unalloyed devotion of the soul, who is without a second, who is not subject to decay, and without a beginning, whose form is endless, who is the beginning and the eternal Purusa. He is a person possessing the beauty of blooming youth. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, only the tip of the toe of whose lotus feet is approached by the yogis who aspire after the transcendental and betake themselves to pranayama by drilling the respiration, or by the jhanas who try to find out the non-differentiated Brahma by the process of elimination of the mundane, extending over thousands, millions of years. He is an undifferentiated entity, and as there is no distinction between potency and the processor thereof, in his work of creation of millions of worlds, his potency remains inseparable. All the universes exist in him, and he is present in his fullness in every one of the atoms that are scattered throughout the universe at one and the same time. Such is the primeval Lord whom I adore. I adore the same Govinda, the primeval Lord, in whose praise men who are imbued with devotion sing the mantras suktas told by the Vedas by gaining their appropriate beauty, greatness, thrones, conveyances, and ornaments. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, residing in his own realm, Goloka, with Radha, resembling his own spiritual figure, the embodiment of ecstatic potency possessed of the 64 artistic activities, in the company of her confidant, Sakyas, embodiments of the extensions of her bodily form, premeditated and visualized by his ever-blissful spiritual rasa. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Samasundara, Krishna himself, with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotee sees in the hearts of hearts, with the eyes of devotion tinged with the slave of love. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who manifested himself personally as Krishna and the different avatars in the world in the form of Rama, Nisimha, Ramana, etc. as his subjective portions. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose effulgence is the source of the non-differentiate Brahma mentioned in the Upanishads, being differentiated from the infinity of the glories of the mundane universe appears as the indivisible, infinite, limited truth. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is the absolute substantial principle, being the ultimate entity in the form of the support of all existence, whose eternal potency embodies the threefold mundane qualities, sattva, vis, rajas, and tamas, and diffuses the Vedic knowledge regarding the mundane world.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose glory ever triumphantly dominates the mundane world by the activity of his own pastimes, being reflected in the mind of recollecting souls as a transcendental entity of ever blissful cognitive rasa. Lowest of all is located Devi Dhama, the mundane world. Next above it is Mahesh Dhama, abode of Mahesha. Above Mahesh Dhama is placed Hari Dhama, abode of Hari. And above them all is located Krishna's own realm named Goloka. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, who has allotted their respective authorities to the rulers of those graded realms. The external potency of Maya, who is of the nature of the shadow of the Chit potency, is worshipped by all the people as Durga, the creating, preserving, and destroying agency of this mundane world. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, in accordance with whose will Durga conducts herself. Just as milk is transformed into curd by the action of acids, but yet the effect curd is neither the same as nor different from its cause, viz. Milk, so I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, of whom the state of Shambhu is a transformation for the performance of the work of destruction. The light of one candle being communicated to other candles, although it burns separately in them, is the same in its quality. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, who exhibits himself equally in the same mobile manner in his various manifestations. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, who, assuming his own great subjective form, who bears the name of Shesha, replete with the all-accommodating potency, and reposing in the causal ocean with the infinity of the world, in the pores of his hair, enjoys creative sleep, Yoga Nidra.
Brahma and other lords of the mundane worlds appearing from the pores of hairs of Mahavishnu remain alive as long as the duration of one exhalation of the latter, Mahavishnu. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, of whose subjective personality Mahavishnu is the portion of portion. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, from whom the separated subjective portion Brahma receives its power for the regulation of the mundane world, just as the sun manifests some portion of its own light in all the effulgent gems that bear the names of Sukyakanta, etc. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, whose lotus feet are always held by Ganesh upon the pair of tumuli protruding from his elephant head in order to obtain power for his function of destroying all the obstacles on the path of progress of the three worlds. The three worlds are composed of the 9 elements: Vish, fire, earth, ether, water, air, direction, time, soul, and mind. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, from whom they originate, in whom they exist, and into whom They enter at the time of the universal cataclysm. The sun, who is the king of all planets, full of infinite effulgence, the image of the good soul, is as the eye of this world. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, in pursuance of whose order the sun performs his journey, mounting the wheel of time. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, by who conferred power or maintained the manifested potencies that are found to exist of all virtues, all vices, the Vedas, the penances, and all jivas from Brahma to the meanest insect. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, who burns up to their roots all fruitive activities of those who are imbued with devotion and impartially ordains for each the due enjoyment of the fruits of one's activities, of all those who walk the path of work in accordance with the chain of their previously performed works, no less in the case of the tiny insect that bears the name of Indragopa than in that of Indra, king of the Devas. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, the mediators of whom, by meditating upon him, under the sway of wrath, enormous passion, natural friendly love, fear, parental affection, delusion, reverence, and willing service, attain the bodily forms benefiting the nature of their contemplation.
I worship that transcendental seat known as Shvetadipa, whereas loving consorts, the Lakshmis, in their unalloyed spiritual essence, practice the amorous service of the Supreme Lord Krishna as their only lover, where every tree is a transcendental purpose tree, where the soil is the purpose gem, all water is nectar, every word is a song, every gate is a dance, the flute is a favorite attendant, effulgence is full of transcendental bliss, and the supreme spiritual entities are all enjoyable and tasty, where numberless milk cows always emit transcendental oceans of milk, where there is eternal existence of transcendental time, who is never present and without past or future, and hence is not subject to the quality of passing away even for the space of half a moment. That realm is known as Goloka, only to a very few self-realized souls in this world. On hearing these hymns containing the essence of the truth, the Supreme Lord Krishna said to Brahma, Brahma, if you experience the inclination to create offspring by being endowed with the real knowledge of the glory of Godhead, listen, my beloved, from me to these signs set forth in the following 5 slokas. When the pure spiritual experience is excited by means of cognition and service, bhakti, super excellent unalloyed devotion characterized by love for Godhead is awakened towards Krishna, the beloved of all souls. The highest devotion is attained by slow degrees by the method of constant endeavor for self-realization with the help of scriptural evidence, theistic conduct, and perseverance in practice. These preliminary practices of devotion, sadhana bhakti, are conducive to the realization of the loving devotion than whom there is no superior well-being, who goes hand in hand with the attainment of the exclusive state of supreme bliss, and who can lead to myself. Abandoning all the meritorious performances, serve me with faith. This realization will correspond to the nature of one's faith. The people of the world act ceaselessly in pursuance of some ideal. By meditating on me by means of those deeds, one will obtain devotion, characterized by love in the shape of supreme service. Listen, O Vidhi, I am the seed, that is the fundamental principle of this world of animate and inanimate objects. I am Pradhana, the substance of matter. I am Prakriti, the material cause, and I am Purusha, the efficient cause. This fiery energy that belongs especially to the Brahman that inheres in you has also been conferred by me. It is by bearing this fiery energy that you regulate this phenomenal world of animate and inanimate objects. Hare Krishna. So tomorrow is basically the disappearance day of Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. So we'll just sing this kirtan. It's called Shad Goswami Ashtakam. Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Paro Premamritombo Nidhi. Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Paro Premamritombo Nidhi. Dhira dhira jana priya priya karo nirmasara pujito. Dhira dhira jana priya priya karo nirmasara pujito. Shri Chaitanya kripa bharo bhuvi bhuvo Varavahan tarako. Shri Chaitanya kripa bharau bhuvi bhuvo Varavahan tarako. Vande rupa sanatana raghuyugo Shri Jiva Gopalaka. Vande rupa sanatana raghuyugo Shri Jiva Gopalaka. Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipuna Sadharma Samstapako. Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipuna Sadharma Samstapako. Lokanam hitakarino tribhuvane Manyo Sharanyakaro. Lokanam hitakarino tribhuvane Manyo Sharanyakaro. Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Nandena Mattaliko. Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Nandena Mattaliko. Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyugo Shri Jiva Gopalaka. Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyugo Shri Jiva Gopalaka. Shri Gauranga Gunanuvarna Vidao Shraddha Samriddhi Anvito. Shri Gauranga Gunanuvarnana Vidho Shraddha Samriddhi Anvito. Papotapanikrantano tanubritam Govinda Ganamrate. Papotapanikrantano tanubritam Govinda Ganamrate. Anandam buddhivardhanaika nipuno Kaivalya nishtarako. Anandam buddhivardhanaika nipuno Kaivalya nishtarako. Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyugo Shri Jiva Gopalako. Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyugo Shri Jiva Gopalako. Tektva Turnamashesha Mandalapati Shrenim Sadatu Chavat. Tektva Turnamashesha Mandalapati श्रेणीं सदातु च वट् भूत्वा दीनगणेशकौ करुणया कौपीनकन्ताश्रितो भूत्वा दीनगणेशकौ करुणया कौपीनकन्ताश्रितो गोपीभावरसामृताब्धिलहरी कल्लोलमग्नौ मुहुः गोपीभावरसामृताब्धिलहरी कल्लोलमग्नौ मुहुः वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ कूजत्कोकिलहंससारसगणा कीर्णे मयूराकुले कूजत्कोकिलहंससारसगणा कीर्णे मयूराकुले नानारत्ननिबद्धमूलवितपा श्रीयुक्तवृन्दावने नानारत्ननिबद्धमूलवितपा श्रीयुक्तवृन्दावने राधाकृष्णमहर्निशं प्रभजतो जीवार्तधौ यो मुडा राधाकृष्णमहर्निशं प्रभजतो जीवार्तधौ यो मुडा वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ साङ्ख्यापूर्वकनामगाननटिभिः कालावसानीकृतो साङ्ख्यापूर्वकनामगाननटिभिः कालावसानीकृतो निद्राहारविहारकाडिविजितो चात्यन्तदीनौ च यो निद्राहारविहारकादिविजितो चात्यन्तदीनौ च यो राधाकृष्णगुणास्मृतेर्मधुरिमानन्देन सम्मोहितो राधाकृष्णगुणास्मृतेर्मधुरिमानन्देन सम्मोहितो वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ राधाकुण्डतटे कलिन्दतनया तीरे च वंशीवटे राधाकुण्डतटे कलिन्दतनया तीरे च वंशीवते प्रेमोन्मादवशादशेषधशया घ्रष्टौ प्रमत्तौ सदा प्रेमोन्मादवसादशेषधशया ग्रष्टौ प्रमत्तौ सदा गायन्तौ च कदा हरिर्गुणवरम् भावाभिभूतौ मुडा गायन्तौ च कदा हरिर्गुणवरम् भावाभिभूतौ मुडा वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुवरौ Shri Jiva Gopalako Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyuga Shri Jiva Gopalako He Radhe Vraja Devika Chelalite He Nanda Shuno Kuta He Radhe Vraja Devike Chalalite He Nanda Suna Kuta Shri Govardhana Kalpa Pada Patale Kalindivane Kuta Shri Govardhana Kalpa Pada Patale Kalindivane Kuta Goshantaviti Sarvato Vrajapure Kedir Mahavivalo Goshantaviti Sarvato Vrajapure Kedir Mahavivalo Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyuga Shri Jiva Gopalako Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyuga Shri Jiva Gopalako. Your translation will be? Yeah. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the 6 Goswamis, namely Srila Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who are always engaged in chanting the holy names of Krishna and dancing. They are just like the ocean of the love of God, and they are popular both with the gentle and the ruffians, because they are not envious of anyone. Whatever they do, they are all pleasing to everyone, and they are fully blessed by Lord Chaitanya. Thus they are engaged in missionary activities meant to deliver all the conditioned souls in this material universe. Read it.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto the 6 Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanata Goswami, who are very expert in scrutinizing, studying all the revealed scriptures, with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus they are honored all over the 3 worlds, and they are worth taking shelter of because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and are engaged in the transcendental loving service of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto the 6 Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, and others, who are very much enriched in understanding Lord Chaitanya and who are thus expert in narrating his transcendental qualities. They can purify all conditioned souls from the reactions of their sinful activities by pouring upon them the transcendental songs about Govinda. As such, they are very expert in increasing the limits of the ocean of transcendental bliss, and they are the saviors of the living entities from the devouring mouth of impersonal liberation.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto the 6 Goswamis, namely Rupa Goswami, Sri Santa Goswami, who kicked off the all association of aristocracy as insignificant. In order to deliver the poor conditioned souls, they accepted loincloths, treating themselves as mendicants, but they are always immersed in the ecstatic ocean of the gopis' love for Krishna, and they bathe always and repeatedly in the waves of that ocean.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto the 6 Goswamis, namely Srila Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, who are always engaged in intensely worshipping Sri Sri Radha and Krishna in the transcendental land of Vrindavana, which is filled with peacocks and flocks of cooing swans, cuckoos and cranes. In Vrindavan, there are also beautiful trees full of fruits and flowers, and having roots inlaid with all valuable jewels. With great delight, the Goswamis bestow upon them, the living entities, the boon of the goal of life.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto the 6 Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanata Goswami, who are engaged in the chanting of the holy names of the Lord and bowing down in a scheduled measurement. In this way, they utilize their valuable lives, and in executing these devotional activities, they conquer overeating and sleeping, and were always meek and humble, enchanted by remembering the transcendental qualities of the Lord.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto the 6 Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, who were sometimes on the bank of the Radhakunda lake, sometimes on the shores of the Yamuna, and sometimes as Vamshivata. All these places, at these places, they appeared just like madmen in the full ecstasy of love for Krishna, exhibiting different transcendental symptoms in their bodies, and they were merged in the ecstasy of Krishna consciousness.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto the 6 Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, who are chanting very loudly everywhere in Vrindavan, shouting, Queen of Vrindavan, Radharani, O Lalita, O son of Nada Maharaj, where are you all now? Are you just on the hill of Govinda, or are you under the trees on the bank of the Yamuna? Where are you? These were the moods in executing Krishna consciousness.
So we'll sing one more song, and then we'll go to the next part of the program. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More. Toma bina ke dayalu jagat samsare. Toma bina ke dayalu jagat samsare. Patita pavana hetu Tava avatara. Patita pavana hetu Tava avatara. Moshama patita Prabhu napai beara. Moshama patita Prabhu napai beara. Aha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi. Aha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi. Kripavalo kana karo ami bado dukhi. Kripavalo kana karo ami bado dukhi. Daya karo Sitapati Advaita Goshai. Daya karo Sitapati Advaita Goshai. Tava kripa bale pai Chaitanya Nitai. Tava kripa bale pai Chaitanya Nitai. Aha Swarup Sanatana Rupa Raghunata. Aha Swarup Sanatana Rupa Raghunata. Bhatta Yuga Shri Jiva Prabhu Lokanata. Bhatta Yuga Shri Jiva Prabhu Lokanata. Daya karo Shri Acharya प्रभु श्रीनिवासा दया करो श्री आचार्य प्रभु श्रीनिवासा रामचंद्र संग मागे नरोत्तम दासा रामचंद्र संग मागे नरोत्तम दासा श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दया करो मोरे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दया करो मोरे तुम बिना के दयालु जगत संसारे तुम बिना के दयालु जगत संसारे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दया करो मोरे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दया करो मोरे. My dear Lord Chaitanya, please be merciful unto me, because who can be more merciful than your Lordship within these three worlds?
Your incarnation is just to reclaim the conditioned fallen souls, but I assure you that you will not find a greater fallen soul than me. Therefore, my claim is first.
My dear Lord Nityananda, you are always joyful in spiritual bliss. Since you always appear very happy, I have come to you because I am most unhappy. If you kindly put your glance over me, then I may also become happy.
My dear Advaita Prabhu, husband of Sita, you are so kind. Please be merciful to me. If you are kind to me, naturally, Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda will also be kind to me.
O Swarup Damodar, personal secretary of Lord Chaitanya, O six Goswamis, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami, and Sri Jiva Goswami, O Lokanatha Goswami, my beloved spiritual master, I pray for your mercy also.
O Srinivasa Acharya, successor to the six Goswamis, please be merciful to me. Narottadam Dasa always desires the company of Ramachandra Sharakvati.
So we will now sing the pranam prayers, and then we will go to the Bhagavatam program. Om Ajnanatimirandasya, we can do together. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaiham Dadhati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapsa Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Shute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vanjakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Do you have the full version, Guruji? You have the full version? Yeah. Namo Om Vishnu Padhaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमोऽहं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वतीति नामिने श्रीवर्षभानवी देवी धायिताय कृपाब्दये कृष्णसम्बन्धविज्ञान ध्यायिने प्रभवे नमः माधुर्य उज्ज्वल प्रेमाद्या श्रीरूपानुगा भक्तिदा श्रीगौर करुणाशक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनतारिणे रूपानुगा विरुद्धाप सिद्धान्तध्वान्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षाद्वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्बरसाम्बोधे पादाम्बुजाय ते नमः. You have to scroll down. Yeah, go down more. Yeah, next. Yeah, after that. Next one. Namo Bhakti Vinodhaya Satchidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaura Virbhava Bhume Svam Nirdesha Sajjana Priya Vaishna Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannataya Te Namaha Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरतिशे नमः पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूप स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकांत राधाकांत नमोस्तुते जयतं सुरतोपंगोर मम मंदमतेर्गति मत सर्वसपदाम्भोजो राधा मदनमोहनो दिव्यद्वृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमादः श्रीमद्रत्नाकरः सिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद्राधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवो प्रेष्टालिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमन्रासरसारम्भी वंशीवटततस्थितः कर्षन्वेणुस्वनैर्गोपीर् गोपीनाथः श्रियेष्टुनः तप्तकाञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वृन्दाय तुलसीदेव्याय प्रियाय केशवस्य च विष्णुभक्तिप्रति देवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः श्री नरसिंह जय जय नरसिंह प्रह्लादेश जय पद्म मुख पद्म भृंग मत्समो नास्ति पापात्मा नापराधि च कश्चन परिहारे अपि लज्जमे किं ब्रुवे पुरुषोत्तम युवतीनां यथा युनियूनां च युतौ यथा मनो अभ्रिमते तद्वमनो मे रमतां त्वयि भूमौ स्खलितपादानां भूमिरेवावलम्बनं त्वयि जातापराधानां त्वम् एव शरणं प्रभो गोविन्दवल्लभे राधे प्रार्थये त्वम् अहं सदा त्वदीयम् इति जानातु गोविन्दो मां त्वया सह राधे वृन्दावनाधीशे करुणामृता वाहिनी कृपया निजपादाब्ज दास्यं मह्यं प्रदीयतां वन्दे नन्दव्रजस्त्रीणां पादरेणुम् अभिक्ष्णः यासं हरिकथोद्गीतं पुनाति भुवनत्रयम् नाम श्रेष्ठं मनुम् अपि शशिपुत्रम् अत्र स्वरूपं श्रीरूपं तस्याग्रजाम् उरुपूरीं माथुरीं गोष्ठवातिं राधाकुण्डं गिरिवरम् अहो राधिका माधवाशां प्राप्तो यस्य प्रतिता कृपया श्रीगुरुं तं नतोऽस्मि आदधनास्तं तृणं धान्तेरिदं याचे पुनः पुनः श्रीमद्रूपपदाम्बोजा रजो अहं स्वयं भवे हन्तायम् अद्रिरबलहरिदासवर्यो यद रामकृष्ण चरणस्पर्शप्रमोदः मानं तनोति सह गगनयस्तयोर्यत् पाणीयसूयस कंदरकंदमूलै जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तमुंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So today we are going to read from Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 10, canto 2, second verse 24. So the topic today is service attitude. That is how we should, what should be our attitude while we are doing devotional service. So first of all, I would like to uh, pray that this is the first time that I'm giving a class, so please forgive me for any offenses. And what I would try to do is just try to listen to the lectures of my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Radhanath Swami, and try to collate it. So most likely, what I have notes I have prepared, I will try to read and speak from that. So if it is not very in a very good format or in a very good way, please forgive me for that. But whatever I am speaking, it's all coming from the previous acharyas, so the language might be like that. So if there is any offenses, again, I have asked beg for forgiveness. So we'll read this verse 10 to 24. This is about Kamsa, so we'll read this verse. Asina samvisham stishtam bunj. Bunjana paryatam mahim chintayano rishikesham apashyatanmayam jagad ashina samvisham stishtam bunjana paryatam mahim chintayano rishikesham apashyatanmayam jagat ashina samvisham stishtam bunjana paryatam mahim chintayamo rishikesham apashyatanmayam jagat. Translation. While sitting on his throne or in his sitting room, while lying on his bed, or indeed while situated anywhere, and while eating, sleeping, or walking, Kamsa saw only his enemy, the Supreme Lord Rishikesha. In other words, by thinking of his all-pervading enemy, Kamsa became unfavorably Krishna consciousness. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada. Srila Gurupa Goswami has described the finest pattern of devotional service as Anukulena Krishnanu Shilanam, or cultivating Krishna consciousness favorably. Kamsa, of course, was also Krishna conscious, but because he regarded Krishna as his enemy, even though he was fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness, his Krishna consciousness was not favorable for his existence. Krishna consciousness, favorably cultivated, makes one completely happy, so much so that a Krishna conscious person does not consider Kaivalya Sukham, or merging into the existence of Krishna, to be a great gain. Kaivalyam narakayate. For a Krishna conscious person, even merging into the existence of Krishna or Brahman, as impersonalists aspire to do, is uncomfortable. Kaivalyam narakayate tridashapur akasha pushpayate. So the karmis hanker to be promoted to the heavenly planets. But a Krishna conscious person considers such promotion a will of the wisp, good for nothing. Durdatendriya kala sarpa patali prokta hata damstrayate. The yogis try to control their senses and thus become happy. But a Krishna conscious person neglects the methods of yoga. He is unconcerned with the greatest of enemies, the senses, which are compared to the snakes. For a Krishna conscious person who is cultivating Krishna consciousness favorably, the happiness consumed by the karmis, jnanis and yogis is treated as less than a fig. Kamsa, however, because of cultivating Krishna consciousness in a different way, that is, inimically, was uncomfortable in all the affairs of his life. Whether sitting, sleeping, walking or eating, he was always in danger. This is the difference between a devotee and a non-devotee. A non-devotee or the atheist also cultivates God consciousness by trying to avoid God in everything. For example, the so-called scientists who want to create life by a combination of chemicals regard the external material elements as supreme. Such scientists do not like the idea that life is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. As clearly stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Mamai Vansho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha. The living entities do not arise from a combination of material elements such as earth, water, air and fire, but are separated portions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If one can understand the position of the living entity as a separated portion of Supreme Personality of Godhead by studying the nature of the living entity, one can understand the nature of Supreme Godhead, since the living entity is a fragmental sample of the Godhead. But because atheists are not interested in God consciousness, they try to be happy by cultivating Krishna consciousness in various unfavorable ways. So although Kamsa was always absorbed in thoughts of Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he was not happy. A devotee, however, whether sitting on a throne or beneath a tree, is always happy. Srila Rupa Goswami resigned from office as government minister to sit beneath a tree, yet he was happy. Tyaktva turnam asesha mandalapati shrenim sada tuchchavat, Sad Goswami, which we read just now. So he did not care for his comfortable position as a minister. He was happy even beneath a tree in Vrindavana, favorably serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this is the difference between a devotee and a non-devotee. For a non-devotee, the world is full of problems, whereas for a devotee, the entire world is full of happiness. Vishwam purna sukhayate vidhi mahendraadischa kitayate yat karunya kataksha vaibhavatam tam gauram evastma. Chaitanya Charitamrita 95. So this comfortable position of a devotee can be established by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yasmin sito na dukkhena gunarupi vichalyate, Bhagavad Gita 6.22. Even when a devotee is superficially put into great difficulty, he is never disturbed. So here now we are going to discuss what should be our attitude in devotional service, right? So these presentations can be divided into multiple parts. So the first thing, which is this main purport, is that we will discuss how the devotional service should be favorable, and also not only favorable, it should be done with enthusiasm. So here we have the great example of a demon, great demon, Kamsa, and he was against the activities of the Lord and the devotees. And out of fear, he was in constant remembrance of the Lord. He always was thinking about Krishna. And in this way, he became purified. And that is what in this purport, this translation is saying, that even though he was inimical towards Krishna, he became gradually purified. And how does this work? I mean, how does this process works? So Krishna is like the sun. Now when we go out in the sun it doesn't think who is pure, who is impure. It puts its light about everybody. And even if like an animal is passing stool, the sun rays touch that stool, but it doesn't get impure, right? But the stool becomes pure by the contact of the sun, because the sun can purify even a filthy object. So similarly, it's Krishna. Krishna can purify anybody. So we recite daily this mantra, Om Pavitraha Pavitro Va Sarva Vasta Gato Piva Yasmaret Pundari Kaksam Sabhagya Abhyanta Suchi. So what this means is that whether one is purified or one is impure, one who remembers this lotus-eyed form of Krishna, the personality of Godhead, he becomes pure internally and externally, becomes internally clean, externally clean. So in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a discussion between Narada Muni and Yudhishthira Maharaj. And they are discussing about Shishupal. He was also a demon, right? So Maharaja Yudhishthira, during the Rajasuya Yajna, there was this Agra Puja. That is, what they do is like the greatest personality of that world. He is being worshipped and glorified before a big ceremony like the Rajasuya Yajna. And everybody, all the great personalities like Vedavyas, Bhishma, Yudhishthira and all, everybody selected Sri Krishna because he was the greatest personality at that time. And they selected him for this puja. And everyone was happy about this except for Shishupal. And Shishupal, because he was not happy, because he was a lifelong enemy of Krishna from his birth. And within his heart he had a lot of envy and enmity for Krishna. And that was because when he was born, at that time it was declared that Krishna would be killing him. So from the day he was born, actually, he was always blaspheming Krishna. It was like he had utmost enmity for him. So for someone who was very envious, it is very, very difficult to see that other person is getting glorified, or is being given credit, or is being appreciated. And that is the nature of envious persons. And Shishupal was one such person. So it is described that when Krishna was in his presence, he became so much infuriated that he started blaspheming Krishna left and right. He went on, started giving accusations, he started calling him bad names, he went on and on. And after some time, the Pandavas became very angry because he was basically blaspheming Krishna for so long that they became angry and they wanted to kill him. But Krishna said no. They stopped him and said, please tolerate this. Because he had given a word to his mother that he would not kill Shishupal until he had crossed certain limit of blasphemy Krishna. And finally, when Shishupal went beyond that limit that was ordained for him, Krishna called his Sudarshan Chakra and killed him. And then everyone was happy, thinking that, okay, this demon has been killed, and he decided that he should go to hell. But at that precise moment, a very wonderful thing happened. And what happened was that the soul of Shishupal came out from the body, and it was bright like the sun, and it soared into the air and merged into the body of Krishna. And when Yudhishthira Maharaj saw this, he was thinking, how can this happen? And that is what he's asking Narada Muni in this verse, in the 7th canto, is, how did a sinful person like Shishupal attain liberation? And Narada Muni explains that it was because he was constantly immersed in the thoughts of Sri Krishna. And day and night, he could not forget Sri Krishna. So although he was suffering because he was fearful of the death that was going to come from Krishna, he was still the subject of envy, the subject of enmity was Krishna. And because of that, he became purified. And we should also understand that these demons like Shishupal and Kamsa, they are like very great demons. Like Shishupal, technically Shishupal is like Jay from he was a doorkeeper of Vishnu, and in the previous birth he was like Hiranyakashipu, and before that he was Ravan, and now he was born as Shishupal because they had offended the Kumaras. So they were taking birth. So in that way they were like very great demons, and so their concentration, their enmity was also that much powerful because they were so powerful. Their whole energy was focused on Krishna towards in the form of enmity. So that concentration was very high, and because of that intense concentration, he became purified by the thought of Krishna. And once his head was cut, and once that means like he atoned for that sin of cruelty, then basically Krishna delivered him. Right? So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 4:11, Ye yata mam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajami aham mama vartamanu vartante manushyaha partha sarvasaha. As one surrenders unto me, I reward him accordingly. So because Shishupal was thinking of Krishna with enmity, and he was obsessed with defaming Krishna's character, and he saw Krishna as death personified because he knew Krishna was going to kill him, so Krishna also reciprocated himself in the same way, that because he wanted to see Krishna as death, Krishna came in the form of death and killed him. And this is how Krishna will respond to us. Like if you want to see him as a form of a devotee, he will come like that. So Narada Muni was explaining to Maharaj Yudhishthira that out of his great humility as Shishupal, and it said in the Bhagavatam that it is very easy for a demon to be constantly engrossed in the thoughts of his enemy 24 hours, and it's very difficult for a devotee to do that the same way. And that we should take a lesson from that is that we should try to remember Krishna in such a way, but not in the way Shishupal or Kamsa were thinking, but in a favorable way. So, but Krishna is very kind, that whether somebody is thinking unfavorably or favorably, he purifies. Because we can see the example of Putana, right? So she came to kill Krishna. In the previous birth, Putana was a sister of Bali Maharaj, and when she saw Vamandev before Bali Maharaj, she was like very happy. She wanted to embrace him and like take him into her arms as a baby. But when Vamandev took everything from Bali Maharaj, basically she got angry and she wanted to kill him. So Krishna fulfilled both her desires in the form of Putana. He gave her an opportunity to nurse him, and at the same time he killed her because she was a demon. And basically he also gave her opportunity to kill him because she came in to basically poison him. But in the end he killed her and then gave her liberation as a nurse in the Golok Vrindavan Dham. So that is how Krishna acts. So similarly Kamsa, when he was driving the chariot, there was a prophecy that was done that the 8th son of Devaki will kill him. And he came to know from Narada Muni and others that this 8th son is no other than Vishnu, the Supreme Lord. And from that time when the Aman was made, he was always thinking about Vishnu, that where is he going to manifest, when is he going to come, and how I can destroy him. And so basically from when the first son was born, basically he thought, okay, this son is not, because his 8th son is going to kill me, so why should I worry? Then because Narada Muni wanted to speed up the pastimes of the Lord and remove this tyrant from the earth, he came and told Kamsa that no, Vishnu can come Vishnu can come maybe first or 8, we don't know what count he's doing. So basically he was always scared, and he started killing one child after the another, right? So Kamsa was always in this anxiety that Vishnu is going to come and kill me. And later on, when Krishna was in Golok Vrindavan, when he was in Vrindavan, when he was in Mathura, or he was in Gokula, at that time Narada Muni came and told, this Krishna is in Vrindavan and he is going to kill you. Then he started sending demons to kill Krishna. And he was again thinking of Krishna, his name, his pastimes, what is he doing? He was always trying to see what is he doing and how I can stop him from killing me. And he was always making arrangements, sending one demon after the another. And even like when all the demons failed, he started making arrangements, sent Akrura to Vrindavan to bring him, and made arrangements like to fight him in the battle to fight him with the wrestlers, etc. So similarly, Krishna was it was basically thinking of Krishna in a way that he wanted to destroy him. And Krishna also reciprocated in such a way that he came to Mathura to kill him. Right? Krishna could have stayed in Vrindavan and he could have just enjoyed with the gopis, but then he wanted to reciprocate. He wanted to, also because other devotees like Devaki and Vasudeva who were thinking of him, and his grandfather Ugrasena, they were in the prison, so he also wanted to deliver the devotees, right? So Krishna also says that I come to destroy the demons, annihilate the demons, but also to say protect the devotees. So he also wanted to protect the devotees. So he went to Mathura to kill him. So similarly, if we want to see God as death personified, then we can see him as death, like all these demons are seeing. Or but if we want to see him as a lotus-eyed Lord of Krishna boy who is playing in the Vrindavan gardens, who is playing the farms of Vrindavan, who is playing the flute, then he comes to us in the form of Shama Sundara and then steals our heart and attracts our mind. So even Prabhupada, when in the earlier movement, when he was trying to spread Krishna consciousness, at that time, there are a lot of people who were against this movement. And there were like people like deprogrammers, like they would try to take these devotees back and try to put them back into this material world, like think, oh no, you are doing wrong. So these people were always constantly against the Krishna consciousness movement. They would try to blaspheme this Krishna conscious movement. They would try to blaspheme the devotees. And Prabhupada used to say, these demons, they are so scared of Krishna, they are so scared of us that they are always thinking of Krishna. And what Prabhupada said, and this is coming from a great Acharya, is that because they are opposing Krishna, they will have to suffer, maybe in this life, this next life, but they will be born as devotees in the future life. And then they will get an opportunity to go back to Godhead. So in this material world, because we are not very, very great demons, we might not get that instant, we will not get realization of, or we will not get liberation instantly. We might have to take birth again as a devotee. But in the case of Kamsa, in the case of Shishupal, because they were great demons, and Krishna was physically present there, they could get liberation in that same life, right? So even for Kamsa, he had to suffer a lot. When Krishna came to fight with him, he basically battled him, hit him with his arms very hard. And Krishna's blows are like thunderbolts. Like we can see that, like when we read the Bhagavatam, we can see how in the various pastimes, even by just single blow, he killed great, great demons. And just think that in one blow he could kill so many demons, and Kamsa is getting so many blows. He didn't die instantly. So he had, by the suffering of these blows, he atoned for his sins, right? And also, that because he was favorable in the sense that he didn't kill his sister Devaki, and we just kept him in prison, and he allowed Krishna. So basically, he was also a little bit favorable to the devotee. So because of that, he atoned for his sins, and because he was remembering Krishna all the time, he got a liberated state. So similarly, all the demons have to suffer terribly because of their offenses, but at the same time, because of the constant immersion in the thoughts of Krishna or in the Lord, they will get liberation. But as devotees, we don't aspire for this. We don't aspire to be a demon. So that is why Srila Prabhupada in this purport is quoting Srila Rupa Goswami, the Anyabhilasha Sunyam, which says that Anyabhilashata Shunyam Jnana Karma Jnana Karma Anyabhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavritam Anukulena Krishnano Shilanam Bhakti Uttamam. So it says that Anukulena Krishnano Shilanam. That means we have to think about Krishna in a favorable way. Because if we don't think about Krishna in a favorable way, then we will have continuous suffering. Because just think, right? If we want to think about someone, and we always think about him like how I can defeat him, how I can kill him, how I can destroy him, what I should do. Our mind is full of agony, hatred all the time. Our mind is agitated. It's never peaceful. And then in that mode, we are also suffering, right? Our heart is getting burned because of that. But on the other hand, if we think how I can serve him, how can I serve that person, how I can be good to him, how I can feed him, or how I can make him happy, because of that positive thoughts, we ourselves are becoming positive. So that is why. So similarly, if we are favorable in this process, then in the Krishna conscious movement, we'll find great happiness and bliss, because that process itself is very joyful. And then we'll make rapid advancement in Krishna consciousness. On the other hand, if we want to be we want to think always negative and just be ungrateful, then yes, because we are all, and if you're only thinking about it all the time, 24 hours a day, right? Then only we will make some progress. And even in the other case, like when we do devotional service, it's not that if I'm thinking for 30 minutes of a day and the remaining 23 and a half hours I'm not thinking about Krishna, then I am basically being favorable. No, that is not the way. So favorable means you have to do all the time. So this verse, Anukulena, this one, it says that devotional service must be constant. It must be constantly done. Constant means like 24/7. Otherwise, it's very difficult. So the question is, how does this example pertain to us as in our individual lives as devotees? I mean, like, what is favorable and unfavorable? We all are here who come to the temple. We are all devotees, and none of us are demons, right? So we come here, and we are trying to serve the Lord in our best way. So and then that means we are favorable to the Lord. We are not unfavorably doing it. So what exactly does this attitude of rendering service favorable mean? So Srila Prabhupada explains that the favorable devotional service means we have to do it in a positive service attitude, and there we are thinking of Krishna at the same time. So positive service attitude means what we have to, when we are doing something, we have to be positive with that activity, and that brings bliss. So what is the opposite way? Like, so we're doing our devotional service, we are doing our rounds, we come to the kirtan, we attend the class, or we are doing some worship, we are cooking for the deities, we are doing a lot of activities, or chanting the holy names. Now, if you are doing in an unfavorable mood means like I have to do because it's a activity that has been given to me. It's not because I'm enjoying doing it. It's just that because today is my day to cooking turn, or today I have to come to the class because Guru Maharaj is here and I have to attend the class, or the temple president has told that you have to attend the program, so we have come here. If that is the case, then we will not experience the happiness of Krishna consciousness, because Krishna consciousness is not an end result. It is the process, right? That is why we say our lifestyle is Krishna consciousness. I mean, Krishna consciousness is not like it's not just going to the temple and coming back like we generally do in most of other religious activities. This process is centered around Krishna. All our activities have to be centered around Krishna. So if you are approaching our service with all sort of expectations that what we will get in return, or what recognition we will get, or what we will gain by doing this service, then that is not a proper service attitude. So if you come to the temple thinking, I will do this kirtan today and everybody will be happy, they will appreciate me, then yeah, it's a way you are doing kirtan because you want to do it, but it's not a proper service attitude. The attitude should be that I come to do kirtan because Krishna should be pleased by that kirtan. I am singing for the pleasure of Krishna. So that is service. Otherwise, what we are thinking is, whatever activities, even if we are doing in devotional service, it is in a sense selfish attitude, right? So even in this case, we are entering devotional service, right? We are doing, so like we are giving kirtans, we are doing giving classes, or we are going outside and distributing books. We are doing a lot of service. But if we don't do it with a positive service attitude, the process of purification of heart will be very gradual. It will be very, very slow. And when you'll see that, I mean, the amount of labor that we have to put to achieve that extra growth in devotional service is very, very high as compared to what we can do when we are joyfully doing it. Because if we are joyfully doing it, our heart is pure, all the impurities will get removed very fast. But if not, because the impurities are still there, or maybe the impurities will still increase because we are trying to think negatively, or we are not doing it positively, and maybe not think negatively, but we are not doing it positively, then that attitude will ensure that whatever work we are doing is very hard labor, and we will not enjoy that process, right? And many times we are asked to do something that we have the lowest inclination. For example, today I'm asked to give the class, and when I was told on Tuesday to give it, I said I cannot do it, and I've never done this because for me speaking is like an activity which I really don't like. I can do kirtan, I might go and sweep the floor. I mean, give me all those activities and I'm happy doing it. But giving a class is like next to impossible for me. And I was in constant anxiety since last week, like how am I going to do it? And still today morning I was in anxiety, like how am I going to do it? And I know I'm not going to do a very good job. But then when I was preparing for this class, when I was listening to the lectures from Guru Maharaj, and he said this very precise verse is that even if you don't like an activity, if you don't have an inclination to do it, we should still accept it as Krishna's mercy and try to do it with a full enthusiasm, right? We should think that it is my good fortune that I have been asked to do this activity. I am not even qualified to do this, but it is my good fortune that I am asked to do it. But at the same time, we should not try to go out of our way and try to take activities which we are not capable of. So I should not say, okay, I want to give lecture every Saturday, or every Sunday, because I am not qualified for that, I am not prepared for that. But if an opportunity comes, we have to take that in a positive way and try to prepare for that, and then try to do it for the pleasure of Krishna, and not that somebody will glorify me or somebody will say, oh, what a nice class you have given. No, that is not the case. Because like if you listen to the lectures of the Maharaj, he said that teaching is a process where we also learn, right? So this is also a learning process. When we are preparing for this class or when we are giving this lecture, there will be questions, and then there will be, somebody will raise a point which we have never thought of, and that will also be enlightening for us. That, okay, oh, I never thought about this. That is something that I should remember. And like when I went through this lectures of devotional attitude, I realized a lot of things that I was not doing correctly. So the process itself was very enlivening for me, and that's why I am very grateful at this point in that at least I got an opportunity and I spent some time and I could do all these things. So similarly, if we can do that, if we can keep that attitude constantly, I mean, this is not like it's a one-time process. Okay, today I did and tomorrow I go back to my normal routine, then that will not help. So if you have to try to do this constantly, always be grateful with this attitude, then we can experience ecstasy in this service. But if we see it as mundane activity, that's something we like or don't like if I say, oh, why did I give it to me? I mean, I just have to do this now, right? And if I come and sit here and speak in that manner, then whoever is listening to it, they will get bored. I will be bored, and Krishna will also not like it, because like we are not doing that activity for Krishna's pleasure or for the devotee. Because when we say Krishna's pleasure, it's not Krishna alone. Krishna says that the person who serves me is not the person who I like the most. The person who serves my devotees, it is whom I like the most, right? So when we are giving this class, when we are doing kirtan, it's not only for Krishna, it's also for the enjoyment of the Vaishnavas. It's a service to the Vaishnavas. So if we are not doing it in a proper frame of mind, if we are doing it as a mundane activity, then Krishna will also reveal to us as a mundane, boring service, right? Then we will not experience Krishna consciousness properly. So it's said that the service in general does not make us happy or sad. It's not like if you are asked to give a lecture, it makes me happy, or if I am asked to do cleaning, it will make me sad. No. It is our consciousness that makes us happy or sad. So if we are in the right consciousness, the right positive service attitude, then basically we will be very happy to do it. So devotee in Krishna consciousness does not expect anything. He's simply grateful that he is allowed to do this service. He is thankful, and he tries to do in the best possible way so that we can get ultimate joy in everything that we do. But if we have any other consciousness, then we are just going to suffer like what comes our Shishupal suffered. So if we are thinking of Krishna and we are doing things in relation to Krishna, our whole attitude should not be of negative, or it should be of a surrender attitude. And surrender means that Krishna, I am surrendering I am doing this activity for your pleasure and not for anything else. So please help me. We can always pray to Krishna that help me, because if we feel that we are not qualified, or if we feel that an activity is difficult, we can pray for Krishna, because without prayers, we don't have any other source. We might have material powers, and we will see in the future verses, in the examples where the material powers actually don't help us. We might have material powers to do a lot of things, but in the end, if Krishna doesn't want that to happen, he will not allow that to happen. So that is why the prayers are necessary, but at the same time, our efforts are also necessary in a proper way. And that is what is also emphasized in the story of Damodar Leela, right? Where when Yashoda Maiya is trying to bind Krishna, she always finds that it's 2 inches short. And it's said that the 1 inch is Krishna's mercy. That Krishna's mercy is required for us to succeed in in any activity. And the second inch is the endeavor that we put, the effort that we put, and Krishna sees that we are doing it, then he basically gives that mercy. So we have to approach Krishna consciousness with the spirit of being a servant and not with the spirit of being served, right? And then Prabhupada here in the purport explains that when we do that, when we approach in the mood of a servant, then we feel that the whole world is full of happiness. Because when we are a servant, we are to serve and that too without expectation. Then we are not expecting anything, right? When I'm just doing my service and I don't want anything, then what is the cause of me to be distressed? What is the cause there that I will be unhappy? There's nothing for me to be unhappy. So then the entire world is full of happiness for me, right? Now, the same can be said from a material person. Like sometimes we see people who are doing social service, they try to serve people who are people who are orphans or people who don't have anything. We try to serve them. But again, sometimes there also what we do is there is a sense of that we want to have some glorification, like people should recognize that he's doing social service. But in Krishna service, we don't even need that. We don't even need that recognition, because Krishna is saying it. And ultimately, if we are practicing devotional service, our ultimate goal is what Krishna sees and what do the acharyas sees, right? Because Krishna is present in our heart as a super soul. So he is a witness to everything. He knows what, even if I do something, he can understand my innermost desires. So, basically what you have to do is, we have to be in a positive frame of mind and be glad that you have opportunity in every situation, and we graciously accepting the mercy of the Lord. And when Krishna sees that, then Krishna will basically be accepted, Krishna will easily accept us. So even when a devotee is put into great difficulty superficially in such a case, he's never disturbed because he is thinking that this is the mercy of Krishna. Right? Now, we may think that, how can I get this? How can I get this positive service attitude? Right? So we might think that, oh, I can chant for hundreds of years and then I can do a lot of service, and then over a period of time, it will come to me, this positive service attitude. But Prabhupada says that this will not happen, because we will not get that positive service attitude unless we put that effort to be positive. Now, unless there is some drastic event that Krishna is very favorable to us and it creates a situation where we are in an opportunity, where we are in a position that we are put in a miserable condition, and because of that we understand the situation. If that doesn't happen, then we are just left in the world trying to strive for our own, right? So we have to put that effort, and it's not something that will take time and come later. It is something that we have to always strive for, that always think how I can have a proper service attitude. So now, if someone asks us to do some service, like as I said before, we can think, like they can ask, like if you want to do some cooking service, or if you want to do give a class, or if you want to do maybe clean the floor. There are two ways we can think about it, right? One thing is like you think, oh, I don't want to do this service, let somebody else do it. Then that is also a wrong way, because what Maharaj says is that no, we should always be happy. Like we are saying that we should be happy, we should accept that service with gratitude that there is an opportunity for us to serve. So if we are thinking like that, then it's very important that we don't say that somebody else can do it, unless we think that we are very, 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 very really unqualified to do it, right? Otherwise, it's okay. We should take that opportunity to do that service. And secondly, we should not think that, oh, I don't like to do this, I might rather do something else. Maybe I am tired now, I will not do it today. I'll procrastinate, do it sometime later. So that also is not a proper attitude, because then there is only going to be suffering. So now, like for example, we have rearranged the items in the gift shop, and I have been basically procrastinating it for like, okay, I can do it next week, or like I want to do it to a book distribution, and I want to like go out book distribution. I think that the book distribution is going on forever. Today I have to do some other service, so let me not go for that. So that is what I was doing it all this time. And when I heard this lecture, it came to me that what I was doing was wrong, because of that, things are not moving, right? Things are not happening. And if somebody comes and sees, like if they need something, what I'm trying to do is I have to search, like if I want something from the gift shop, I have to like spend a lot of time trying to search for it, where it is, because it's not properly arranged. And at the end of the day, then people will think, oh, these people are not properly organized, and they will feel bad. I mean, they will not feel good about us. So basically, whatever activities we do, we are also representing us as a face of Krishna consciousness movement, right? So whatever activities we try to do, it should always be done in a cheerful way, in a joyful way. Because then what others see, they will think that, okay, this is what these guys are doing, and this is what we should be also trying to do. So what is the opportunity that we have in such a situation is we can control our mind, our senses, and think, and try to, if we have a negative thought, we try to change that and think, this is what my Krishna wants, this is what Krishna wants, this is what my Guru wants, right? And let me do it nicely, let me do it enthusiastically for their pleasure, and let me try to enjoy this service. Now, one point that is made is that maybe like the best service that we want to do is something that we don't like. And why is it said? For example, I am not comfortable doing book distribution, right? Now Krishna knows within the heart that I am not able to do book distribution properly because maybe I cannot speak well, or maybe I am an introvert by nature, so I don't like talking to people much. But now if I take that extra effort and go out and do that service, Krishna within the heart will see, oh, this person is doing this service even though he is not very comfortable doing it. He is trying to do it, so let me help him. So, and that also, if you're doing with sincerity, it's not like, okay, today ISKCON Prabhu tell everybody in the temple has to go for Sankirtan, so let me go and do it. No. Then that might not help. Yeah, that's one way you're still doing it, but now I'm trying to put an effort consciously, trying to serve Krishna, trying to serve the Guru, and trying to see how I can do it to my best possible way. And although I am not very comfortable doing it, then Krishna sees that, okay, this person is trying to do it, so let me help him. And when he helps that way, our devotion, the amount of the joy that we get is faster, it's much more, and then Krishna will reveal to us much more faster. So basically, that what we are doing at this point is basically we are surrendering, and we are surrendering to Him in a much more stronger way. Because when we are doing an activity which we like, the surrender is not much, because there is sort of enjoyment for our own enjoyment. Like, okay, I'd like to do this service, so I'm happy doing it. But when I'm doing something which I'm not really happy doing it, but I'm putting my full effort, then that surrender, the amount of surrender required there is much more. It's like when I want to push this, it's like, oh, I can push it very easily. But if I have to push a big stone, I have to put a lot of my effort, right? It's the same way the surrender also works that way. So similarly, Maharaj says that if you like, he's give another example, like during Kirtan, when we come for Kirtan, many times people say, oh, I love the Kirtan because it's so nice, I enjoy it, doing it, right? But what Maharaj says is that the Kirtan that we do, or when we chant, when we dance, when we sing, or whatever we do, it should be done again for the pleasure of Krishna. We should chant and sing loudly, saying, Krishna, I'm doing it for you. Hope you like, hope you love, hope you like my love for you, or hope you like my singing. Like it's not like, okay, I love this music, so I'm coming here. I want to dance because I don't want, and then I want to just eat some prasadam. Go. I mean, it's good for neophyte devotees because that's how you will gradually progress. But when we want to really advance, all our activities should be such that we are trying to do it for Krishna, and that is what it actually means favorable. Because anybody who comes to the temple to attend Kirtan is favorable. He is not coming here to. He is not like when we go for Harinam and there are some people saying, no, Jesus is only way, Krishnas are bad. Like they have this board, like other people will go to hell. I mean, we are not like telling them, I mean, they are not coming to the temple to do Kirtan, right? So we are coming here to attend, to listen to the songs, to take part in this devotional service. And there will be neophyte devotees, there will be advanced devotees. So as an aspiring advanced devotee, because we want to progress in the spiritual life, our effort should be such that we are doing it for Krishna. So even when we go for Harinam, sometimes we see that some people are dancing, some people are just standing there and talking to other people. So we should always try to keep it in the back of our mind that how best I can participate in that process at that point in time so that Krishna is pleased, because Krishna is saying what I'm trying to do. Right? So if the Sankirtan is going on, we are distributing books, yeah, that's perfectly fine. But if you are just standing there, not participating in the Kirtan and just thinking whether I should chant or just sit there, then we should just go and chant, because when we are chanting with enthusiasm, other people are also seeing that, Krishna is seeing that, and then he will be very happy for us. Right? So Rupa Goswami says that the purification that takes place due to this favorable service attitude is very fast. And Krishna reveals himself much more faster based upon the devotee's desire to surrender. And if our desire is to see Krishna, we will see Krishna. If it's for sense enjoyment, then whatever activities we will do, we'll get sense enjoyment. We will relish the kirtan, we will relish the prasadam. But that is because we are eating it as food and not as prasadam. And the prasadam will take effect. Maybe it will take few years for heart to be purified. But if we think that, oh, this is prasadam, I want to relish it so that it will purify my heart, then the purification will be much more faster. Right? So this human form of life is very valuable. Like we go through this 8.4 million species of life, right? And out of that 400,000 are human beings. And we get this human being, the form of human life, very, very rarely. Although we might think that there are 7 billion people in this world, how is it rare? But if we compare to the number of ants, the ants are zillions, right? So and then compared to zillions, 7 billion is what, nothing. And out of that 7 billion people, how many people are practicing Krishna consciousness? How many people are trying to become spiritual? It might be a few million people, right? So it's very rare that we are in this position. And when we are in this position, we have to strive for this positive service attitude. We should not wait for it to come on its own. Like we might say, Krishna, in the material sense, like if you are trying to achieve something, for example, I want to buy a car or I want some money, and we are not able to get it, no matter how hard we are striving, we might say, okay, Krishna, it's your mercy. If it's your wish. If you want to give us, give us. If you don't want to give us, don't give us. And that's the prayer that we should have in the material things. But when it comes to the spiritual attitude, right, we cannot say that Krishna, give me the positive attitude, then I will start it. No, that will not work. We have to strive it. When we strive, then Krishna will give more. Like it said that when we take one step towards Krishna, Krishna takes 10 steps towards us, right? So that's what we need to try, that we should take this positive service attitude and try to be submissive, try to be grateful, because unless we do that, we cannot progress in this Krishna consciousness. And that is the key to success in all Krishna conscious activities. Submissive, positive service attitude in everything we do. And we will find great joy and pleasure in doing this. Now going back to how the movement basically got, like in the 60s and 70s when the movement was in its prime, right? How did it basically, people joined the movement? That is because Prabhupada said to the devotees, okay, go and do Harinam and go and do book distribution. Now they didn't go sulking, oh, it's a sack of bags, like, oh, I have to do Harinam. Prabhupada is saying, I'd rather be chanting in the temple. No, they went and they used to do Harinam for Sankirtan for 12, 16 hours a day. And there was transcendental competition of who is distributing more books, right? And how much books we can distribute. And when people saw these people like the shaved heads with white, bright tilaks, dancing with joy, and they were relishing the kirtan. When we listen to that kirtans, if we ever get a chance to look at the videos, we can see how people are dancing, how much they are relishing it. And when they see that people see that these people are blissful, then they automatically get attracted. And that was the case even with George Harrison. Like when he was traveling in the car, he saw these people dancing and jumping, and there are many other people who just joined this movement, ISKCON movement, just by seeing the devotees dancing in bliss. So this bliss is contagious, and it should be contagious in the sense that when we are doing something in service, it should be contagious that other person is getting affected by that. And that should be our motto, that how can be contagious, we don't want to spread a cough or a cold or any other disease, but this Krishna consciousness, we should try to see how contagious it can be so that others can also pick it up, right? So this joy, we should think that it's very contagious. So today we are in such a place, like we are given by Prabhupada everything, Prabhupada and his disciples, we have been given this nice temple, we have this nice deity, we can worship, and in US it's much more better because there are so few restrictions, like I can go and serve Prabhupada, and if I go to India or in a place where there's like very senior devotees, we don't even get an opportunity to serve. If you go to say Radha Chowpatty temple, Radha Gopinath temple in Chowpatty, or say Juhu temple in Bombay, or maybe even LA temple we will not get much service because there are so many devotees to do there, a lot of services. But in this temple, we have this opportunity to do whatever service we want because we are a smaller congregation, there is a lot of opportunities. So maybe we should try to take whatever service we can. I mean, because we also have other responsibilities, we have a family, we have job. So we have to balance everything, right? But at the end of the day, we should see how best I can contribute my time in serving Krishna in a positive way. And so if we have a call for duty, like we can see whether can I take out some time from some other activity, and then try to do it for Krishna. And then Krishna will be very happy, pleased with that. So basically when we talk about this, the favorable thing is that we should think that whatever activities we do is favorable in the sense that favorable means we are doing it in the positive service attitude, we are doing it in a submissive attitude with the intention to serve Krishna and the devotees. And third, most importantly, we should try to do it with enthusiasm. Because we might do a service in the mood of submitting like a servant, because if Vaishnava Prabhu tells me I have to do it because I am in a sense, he is very superior to me, so I have to do it and serve. In that sense, I will surrender to him and do it. But am I doing it with enthusiasm? So enthusiasm is a key. But again, we have to be very careful not to be over-enthusiastic. Right? Sometimes in over-enthusiasm, we might not see the full picture and do something wrong. Right? Like for example, sometimes we do to book door to door, and then we see that somebody complains, and now the manager comes and says that, oh no, we should not do it here. Then we have to we should not be enthusiastic, oh no, I will ignore this manager and continue in this apartment. No, because what happens is that they might call the police, right? And then we'll have some problem because then say if it comes in the paper, and then we get a bad name. So there are a lot of repercussions that can happen, right? So we have to be very careful in what we do, and the enthusiasm should be there, but we should not be over-enthusiastic, right? So the next point is that when we do devotional service, or when we have other attitude is that it should be without expectation or remuneration. And that is a very big thing for a person who is conditioned by the material modes of nature. That not to have expectation, it's not very, very easy. So it's explained in Srimad Bhagavatam that, or in the Bhagavad Gita also, when Krishna says that you do karma yoga, but do not be attached to the fruits of action. Right? And it's very simple to say, do not be attached to the fruits of action. Like if I'm cooking for Krishna, am I not thinking that the food should be tasty? Right? We are thinking about that. So how easy it is to be not to be attached to the fruits of action. So one way is to think that I'm making it for Krishna, so that Krishna should be happy with it. So I should try to make it as tasty as possible. That is one way. And then it is called as a karma, right? It's basically we are trying to do it in a way that there is no karma. But in spiritual life, what happens is when we do certain activities, we get certain benefits on its own. Like when we do a nice kirtan, people might say, "Oh, what a wonderful kirtan! You are a nice singer." Now, that's a fruit. That's a result that comes from it. Now, first thing is we should not expect that when we are doing a kirtan, because then our consciousness is not pure. Secondly, if I get something like some congratulations or something, how should I deal with it? Should I be happy? Yes, I should be happy because I did something and the Vaishnavas were happy. But should I be proud? Should I be attached to the fruits? No. So that is where that balancing act comes, and that doesn't come unless we are consciously aware of that fact, because internally Maya tries to attack us in various ways. So, like there is an example, there's a story, right, given that there was a great Brahmana who used to do all his sandhya, like as a Brahmana, you have to do certain sandhya artis at specific times of the like early morning, noon, evening, and all those things. And he used to do it very regularly. And then one day he forgot to do it. I mean, he was sleeping and he overslept. And Kali came and woke him and asked him to do it. So he woke up and then he did his rituals. And then he came back and he asked Kali, "You are Kali, so why did you help me out? Your job is not to help us to do anything, right?" When Kali said, "No, if I had not woken you up, then you might have repented that you missed it and your heart might have become pure. But now that because you did it in the right time, you are proud that I didn't miss it." Right? So there is a subtle way in which these activities can basically make us proud, or basically alter our consciousness. So we have to be very careful about that. So we perform great austerities in the service of our Guru and the Lord. But if we accept any result or recognition, like my Guru will be happy with me, or somebody will recognize me, and if it doesn't happen, right? If we think that okay, I dressed this deity and somebody should tell me that this deity was dressed beautifully, and then if it doesn't happen, we'll see, oh, nobody noticed it. Maybe I didn't. So what happened? What did I do wrong? Nobody told me that I did a wonderful job. Maybe I'm not doing it. So. Or like somebody thinks that, oh, you didn't do it, somebody else, so they will talk to some other person, oh, you did a wonderful job of this dressing the deity. Or they must have seen that somebody came and altered that flower or something, and they might have thought that person has dressed it, right? And you might go and congratulate that person, and you will think, oh, I did the whole effort, I spent 2 hours dressing the deity, and then he got the credit. So if we have that mentality, then we are just going to suffer, because again our consciousness is going to. So end of the day, everything is related to suffering, whether we want to suffer in the process, or you want to enjoy in the whole process, right? So, even we can take the example of Srila Prabhupada, right? Now, Srila Prabhupada, when he came to US and out of the Western countries, just because his Guru Maharaj told him when he was 25 years old, I think, that you are an educated man, go to the West and preach. And Prabhupada didn't come immediately to the West. He spent a lot of time preparing. He thought that I will raise some money, right? I will raise some money, I will do this, I will do that, and then of that money, I will print books and I will go to West and preach. But then what happened was that he was not successful in his material endeavors, because he tried a lot, because he was trying to expect something from his results and he didn't succeed. And then finally he left everything, he took sannyas, sat in Vrindavan, he started writing the purports for this translations for this Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita and all those things. And then he came to US, to the West. And when he came, he had only 40 rupees, he didn't have anything in his hand. He didn't know what he can do. He didn't know how he can fulfill it. He had 2 heart attacks. He spent 40 days in the Jaladuta ship. And he could have said, okay, let me go back. I'm very old. Anyway, I cannot do anything, so let me go back. But he didn't do that. He had full faith in his Guru and Krishna. And in his poem, he said, which he wrote in Boston, is that, Krishna, I don't know why you have brought me here. I have come here just to fulfill the desire of my Guru. So now you decide what you want to do, how you want to do it. I will put my efforts. And he started sitting in Tompkins Square doing kirtan. Slowly I got people, and the movement spread to from New York to San Francisco, Los Angeles, and then other places. And it grew and it created 108 temples. And at that time, ISKCON had a lot of money. And technically, he was a millionaire in that sense. Basically, if you think that he is owner of ISKCON, he was a millionaire. But he never had that love or attachment to that money or the temples or anything. Yes, he wanted that the temple should be kept clean. He wanted that the deities should be taken care of properly. The devotees should be addressed properly. So he had some rules and regulations. But he never had any attachment to being served or like wanted. Like when Prabhupada basically started the movement, right? When he was taking the class in the Brooklyn, basically when he was doing in the West New York City, he used to cook daily for the devotees. He used to serve the pot. He used to serve them. He used to clean the pot because those people didn't know what it is meant by devotional service. They just used to come to attend the class, and then they would have to attend the class, and then basically they would go back. Right? So they used to do that, but Prabhupada did all this menial service, and he didn't attach. But his only expectation was that these people take Krishna consciousness. It was like a positive expectation that whatever service I am doing, I don't want them to glorify me. I don't want them to give me money or anything, but I want them to ensure that they do it for Krishna and they get Krishna consciousness. So that is what we are looking at it. So in this material world, if we look at it, we don't serve anybody until we get some remuneration. Like a servant is serving the master, he will not do it if he doesn't get any money, or if he doesn't get any something in kind, like he's given shelter, food, etc. We don't do it as a sense of gratitude. It's very rare. There might be mutual respect, mutual honesty, trust, but again, it's on the material platform, right? Again, the relationships, if you look, like if I'm between husband and wife, parents and children, maybe between friends, there are always expectations. It's like, it's not that we are two individuals and we are respecting each other completely. It doesn't happen. We have expectations. So all these things are in the bodily platform, right? We have to go beyond this and try to understand what is our real service. The real service is to strive for the Supreme Godhead, to serve the Supreme Godhead and to understand the relationship with Krishna. And we are trying for that because it said in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Jivera Swarupa Krishna Nityadas. Our eternal position is to be the servant of Krishna and serve Him, to be enjoyed by Krishna. And the moment we try to enjoy ourselves, we are stuck in this material existence. We go on and on. So there's a wonderful story. I said there's a wonderful story of Bali Maharaj. And everybody knows how Bali Maharaj was the greatest king at that time. He had even defeated Indra. And he was the ruler of the three worlds. Right? And he was doing a great, some sacrifice. And at that time, the demons were all the demigods were very scared, and they went to Vishnu and prayed to him to save them from Bali Maharaj. And Vishnu came in the form of Vamandeva, a small boy, and asked for charity from Bali Maharaj. Asked him 3 steps of land that my feet can cover. Now it's called Vamandeva because he was a dwarf. So a dwarf is like a small boy, right? And how big is his feet? Maybe half a feet. So if he takes 3 steps, he would take 2 or 3 feet. So he was asking for the 3 steps of land, and Bali Maharaj is thinking that I am so powerful, I am such a rich person, I am ruler of the 3 worlds. And Bali Maharaj is a devotee in a sense, but at that time he was also, because even like we have seen in the case of Indra, etc., that although they are devotees, sometimes they are covered with pride. And Bali Maharaj is the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj, who is a very great devotee. So in a sense he was a devotee, but at that time he was proud. And he said to Vamandev, we want only 3 steps of land, I can give you anything, I can give you villages, I can give you my entire kingdom. Why do you want only 3 steps of land? And Vamandev said, no, that is good enough for me. And when he agreed to that, Vamandev basically expanded himself in such a way that in 2 steps he took away all his possessions. So few seconds back, Bali Maharaj was the greatest king, the richest person in the universe, in a sense, because he was even the controller of the demigods, controller of heaven. And in a few seconds, he became a pauper. He didn't have anything. And when Vamandev asked him, where can I put the 3rd step? Bali Maharaj didn't know what to do. He was perplexed, like, where can I put the 3 step? And he said, now I don't have anything. The only thing that I have is my life. So I surrender unto you. I have realized my folly that I thought I was the owner of everything. But in 2 seconds, you have basically taken away everything and showed me that everything that is belongs to you only. Nothing is belonging to me. So all I can do now is surrender, and please put your feet on my head. And then Vamandev put his feet on his head and sent him to the Patala planets. But Vamandev was very happy with that, right? Because of this act of Bali Maharaj, we are still glorifying him in Bhagavatam. we are still singing his praises. And when we celebrate, like in Kerala, every year they basically celebrate a festival called Onam, which is like in memory of Bali Maharaj. So he was basically, he got glorified to such an extent even today, and this happened in Satyuga, so for so many years we are celebrating it. But Vamandev personally was happy with Bali Maharaj's surrender. And he said, I am very happy that you surrendered onto me. Because initially when Bali Maharaj gave that charity, gave the 2 steps, he was in the mode of a donor, he was giving a charity. But when he gave the 3rd step, it was in the mood of surrender of a devotee. So Vamandev then, when Bali Maharaj said, I don't want anything in return because I have realized that nothing was mine, so I don't want anything. And this is what the true surrender we should try to aspire for, right? And when Bali Maharaj, when Vamandev saw this, he personally said, okay, you don't want anything, but I will give you. I will be your doorkeeper in the sphere planet, and I will serve you. So similarly is the case with Prahlad Maharaj. When Hiranyakashipu killed Narasimhadev, and Prahlad Maharaj had suffered a lot, he was a 5-year-old boy, he had suffered a lot in all this, whatever activities he did, he suffered a lot. He was put into like a pit of snakes, he was fed poison, he was thrown from the top of the mountain. Assume that 5-year-old boy suffering that much, and we, like a thrown pricks us, we can see how much pain it is, and he was put through all this. But all the time he was remembering Krishna, Vishnu, and he didn't ask for be saved or he didn't ask for anything. He was remembering Krishna save, and Vishnu saved him. But we don't. It was intangible in the sense we don't see the results, right? We can see that he was saved, but the result is intangible. But if we get something like we get a king, but later on when like Narasimhadev gave him the kingdom and made him the king, it is a tangible thing. So similarly, when we are doing certain things, we can see that the results are tangible. We can see the results. Sometimes we cannot see the results. But either ways, we should always continue in our process of devotional service. Because the Lord's potency is such that sometimes He can take away everything from us, sometimes He can give everything to us. We cannot understand, we cannot realize this unless we have the mercy of the Guru and the Vaishnavas, right? So Srila Rupa Goswami makes a profound statement, says that in serving Krishna, we should never think we are the loser. So even if you have to give everything to Krishna, we should never think we are the loser. Krishna will act in His own ways and give us back infinitely, but it might not be tangible. So whatever we get, our devotional service might be increasing. We might lose materially, but we'll see that because of our efforts in Krishna consciousness, we are getting love for Krishna. And ultimately, that is what we want, right? Either we have to be materially superior or we have to be spiritually superior. And the best thing is to be spiritually superior. So if we can become spiritually superior, that is the best thing. And that's what we should aspire for. So what we can learn from this example is that the greatest treasure of bhakti is Krishna Himself. And we might not get that immediately. Krishna might put us into troubles. We might try to test us. We might have to suffer because of our karma. And how we act on those things will basically decide how we can progress. So we should basically, the conclusion is that we should not expect anything but the mercy of the Lord. And that too in whatever way Krishna wants to give. So one thing is to accept mercy of the Lord and say, Krishna, give your mercy. Another thing is to say, Krishna, give your mercy, but it's on your own free will. I don't have any free will. So basically you decide what you want to give me. But to come to that level requires a lot of faith, a lot of patience. Right? It's just not something, some people can do it immediately, but for a regular aspiring person, it's not very easy. So we have to keep on trying that. And this is also what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in the 6th Ashtakam, right? Ashli shava padaratam pinastu mam adarshanam marma hatam karotu va yata tatava vidadadalam pato mad prananatastu sevanaparaha. That I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and He shall remain so even if He handles me roughly by His embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for He is my worshipable Lord unconditionally. So this verse, that whatever way Krishna keeps me, but if I am ready to surrender onto Him unconditionally, that unconditional thing is that which we aspire for, and it will take effort, and that is where the positive service attitude comes. Like when we do that, we automatically, and we don't have expectations, then we get this mood, right? So we should try to be attached to Krishna's service and the service of the Guru, and not to the results that we get at the end. And through that, we require great faith and patience, because it might take years for that to happen. Because our chanting is also similar. Right? If we say that when we chant, we should do it sincerely, with a love. We should relish the taste of Krishna in our name, in the tongue. And we can get that only when we try to do chanting with focused attention. And we can do focused attention only when we try practicing chanting. So it's like a cyclical process. So the whole thing is cyclic. So we have to do activities in Krishna consciousness. We have to try to be encouraged. We should try to be enthusiastic. We should try to be joyful. We should, and then when we do that, when we do these activities, Krishna gives that mercy. And then when we start doing the activities again and again, we automatically relish it. So we have to strive for it, and then we get it. That's how the process should be. So another thing that we should not do in devotional service is to not demand from others. And this demand also means, and it's in a way it's related to same thing as expectation, right? When we're demanding, we're expecting something from others. So we should try not to demand anything from the from the Lordhead. We should not try to demand from the Gurus or Vaishnavas, and we should try to render in a surrendered mode. Now, as a neophyte devotee, as a person who is aspiring, who is struggling in this material world, it's very difficult not to demand from Krishna, because if we have some problem, whom do we go to? Right? We have to go to Krishna and we have to ask Him. But our consciousness should be such that we try to overcome that in over a period of time. Now, Prabhupada says that, like in his prayer, that okay, Krishna will do whatever you want and keep me. But from his devout disciples, he said, no, you have to do this, you have to clean the temple, you have to worship this, you have to go and distribute books. And he wanted, and as a leader, as a motivator, we can do all these activities. We can demand. But it should not be for our own sense gratification. We should not demand like, okay, go, please serve me. That is not a good way. But we can ask him to serve for Krishna, as because we are a leader and this responsibility has been given to us. So in that position we should demand, but again it should be for the service of Krishna. Otherwise we should always remember that we are the servant of Krishna. Right? So Bhakti Vinod Thakur mentions, Maro bhi rakho bhi jo ichha tohara, nitya dasa prati tuva adhikara. That whatever you want to do, if you want to kill me, if you want to protect me, do whatever you desire. But do anything you like to me, but I am always your servant. And that is basically what Mahaprabhu said in the 6th Ashtakam, the 8th verse. So basically our focus should be how to please the Lord and how to make the Vaishnavas happy. It should not be how to make ourselves happy. And one more important thing is, in this thing is that we should not take things for granted. Because sometimes we say that familiarity breeds contempt, right? We see the same deities, we say the same old thing and like, okay, this is the same deity, it's just a stone, as an idol. No. We should try to see Krishna in these deities. We should try to see the devotees as our master. Because when we call ourselves, when others Prabhus, the idea is that we are calling them the master. It's not that Prabhu, we call them Prabhu and then say, okay, we fight with them or we insult them. Then that's not proper way. Because then we are having a material desire which we are not able to overcome. So basically we should try to overcome that, and we should try to see how in everything we see spirit consciousness, how you can see Krishna consciousness in everything. Because otherwise, if we think that what is good for me is good and what is bad for me is bad, then we are in the material mode of life. But otherwise, if we think that how to please the Lord, how to be the servant of the servant, then our consciousness is much more purified. Right? And in this context, Prabhupada said wonderfully that a pure devotee, whether able to or is unable to see the Lord, he should always engage in the Lord's devotional service or serving the devotees, and hope that sometime the Lord will be pleased to appear before him so that he can see face to face. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that we should never even try to see the Lord, in a sense. We should try to serve the Lord in such a way that Lord wants to see us. So like when we say we go to take darshan, it says that it's not we are going to see the deities. We are telling, it should be such that the Krishna is happy to see us, that like my devotee has come. Right? Now there are many stories in India where like because the devotees from the lower caste, they were not allowed to enter the temple, and Krishna basically turned his face and they were told him that the devotee that go and sit behind the temple. And Krishna basically, and there was a window and see from there, and Krishna basically turned his face and gave the darshan to the devotee from the window. So basically we should aspire that we should progress. We should not aspire to be a great devotee so that Krishna will see us, but we should aspire in such a way that we become good devotees, that Krishna is pleased to see us. And because we want to please Krishna, and Krishna is pleased to see his devotee, so we should try to please Krishna in that way. So we should also, another thing is we should try to be humble. Right? And how we can be humble is that, being humble is like we should not expect anything, we should try to serve the devotees. So Ambarish Maharaj, in the Bhagavatam we have the story of Ambarish Maharaj, right? And he was a very pure devotee of the Lord. And there's the glories of Ambarish Maharaj, like how he basically worshipped all the deities with all his senses, like with his eyes, ears, like with all, he used all the objects of his body to worship the deities. He was such a humble person. And his kingdom was such that because he was always in a humble mood to serve the others, serve his citizens, basically everybody was looking to him. Like in Bhagavad Gita, it says that, the third chapter, that what great people do, the common people follow. Right? So basically, citizens also saw that that's my Lord, that our king is such a humble person, so we should also aspire that. And they also, in this humble mood, basically were serving each other. And that should be our mood. And like there's a story of Maharaja Chitraketu. He was a Gandharva, or he was a heavenly citizen. And then once Mother Parvati cursed him because he laughed at Lord Shiva, and asked him and cursed him to be a demon and go to hell. And Chitraketu basically said, "Okay, mother, that if that is your wish, I will happily accept it, and I will serve the Lord wherever I have to be." So even in the demon's body, his consciousness was, he could remember Krishna. And when Indra was sent to kill him, he basically instructed Indra how we can kill and perform the duty. And that is how we should be. Like, we should try to aspire, like we should be humble. And humble means like it's Trinadapi Suni Chena, right? So the word Tarorapi Sajna, like being tolerant than a tree, being humbler than a blade of a grass, and giving respect to others, not expecting respect from anybody. So once we do that, automatically our Krishna conscious process becomes easy. And the last point that we should remember is that no service is menial. Now, when we are doing devotional service, many times people tell, "Why are you doing this service? It's such a low service. Why are you cleaning the toilets? Or why are you just cutting vegetables? You should be cooking. You are a chef." Right? The cutting can be done by anybody else. Or you are a big devotee, you have been practicing, you should give lectures. So we'll have a lot of services like that, but no service is menial. And the best example is of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So once Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called the devotees in Mayapur and said, "Let's clean the temple." I think it was temple of Srivas Pandit Prabhu. He had a temple of his own, where his deities were there. So how did they do? They got all the brooms and mops and started cleaning. So everybody was on their knees. Now think, we worship these Panchatattva deities, and the devotees in the Mayapur knew these are like, he is Krishna himself, Nityananda is expansion of Balram, Advaita Acharya is Mahavishnu, and Srivas Pandit is Narada Muni, and they knew Gadadhar Pandit is Radharani. Haridas Thakur was like a great devotee, people used to worship him. And all these devotees, they were on the floor, basically trying to clean the temple, and the dust was all over them. And they were experiencing bliss in the service because they were doing it for Krishna. And even Prabhupada, when he was, as I said, when he came to US first time, he did this menial service like cooking, cleaning the vessels, serving the devotees. So serving the people who came for his class. At that time, they were not really devotees. So he did all this menial service, right? And even this most menial service gave them bliss. And that is because their consciousness was pure. Because if we think the activity is menial, then we will be in Maya. But if we think that whatever activity, whatever service I have to do it for Krishna, then we will automatically be happy. And similarly, we have Maharaja Prataprudra. Like, he was not accepted by Lord Chaitanya because he was a king, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't want to be seen with a king because he thought these people are aristocratic, they will be proud. But when he saw the king basically sweep the floor, sweep the street before the Rath Yatra cart and before in the procession of the Lord Jagannath, then Mahaprabhu, and he could see the humble nature of the king, right? And then after that he accepted him, and then he gave him this audience, and because so that's why, like, when we do menial service, it basically cleans our heart. So we should remember that all activities in devotional service, whatever we do, we have this process, right? But whatever activities we do, it is just to cleanse the temple of our heart. Because once we clean the temple of our heart, all the impurities go away, and Krishna can reside there. And then when we come to chant the holy names, because that is the process that is given to us, right? Hear and chant. Then we can relish the taste of the holy name. We can relish Krishna dancing on our tongue. And Krishna will also be happy to see our sincerity in chanting the holy names. So that is our ultimate process, and that is same mentioned in the verse in Srimad Bhagavatam is Savai Pumsham Paro Dharmo Yato Bhakti Radokshaje Ahetukiya Patihata Yatma Suprasidati. That the supreme occupation for all humanity is that by which one can attain loving devotional service to the transcendental holy name of the Lord. And such devotional service must be done without motivation and uninterrupted, and to completely satisfy the self, and we should do it with enthusiasm. So basically we should try to remember that, and what is the takeaway from this, right? We should always try to remember that whatever opportunity we have been given to do service, we should try to do it in the best possible way, in a submissive service attitude, in a positive way, thinking that we are doing this as a service to Krishna for the pleasure of Krishna and with enthusiasm. And we should try not to be attached to the results, not to try to get recognition, returns, and not even attached to the service. Because like if you're attached to a service, then that is also because we can become complacent in that service. So we should try to be not attached to a service. And always remember that no service is menial, and try to be humble. Because our attitude towards devotional service is the key. Because service, everybody does it. I mean, I have been doing it for long, but until I read these lectures, I found what more faults I had, because sometimes I should think why I have to do it, why others cannot help me. But now I realize that no, this is an opportunity that has been given for me for my purification. So I should try to do it in that way, and that should be our key, that how best we can make of whatever opportunities we are given. Thank you. So if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. You can take the mic. Sorry for being monotonous, but I tried my best.
Thank you, Prabhu, for a very nice class.
Sorry.
I'm sure that Krishna had a lot of mercy on you
I hope so.
to present the way that you did, because you did a wonderful job. Right now, I'm attending some courses over at the Veterans Administration.
Mm-hmm. Which one?
Over the Veterans Administration
Okay.
facility in Menlo Park.
Mm-hmm.
And is very strong in terms of communication, building communication skills between each other. And sometimes it's very difficult to communicate with some people. Some people are easy and some people are not so easy. And so the challenge is to accept the challenge of communicating with those that are difficult.
All right.
And in a way that is loving and kind with them. And so, listening to your lecture today, I'm reminded of what my responsibility is as I'm going through this course, and to make a concerted effort to meet that challenge in a way that will please Krishna. And so, thank you so much for reminding me and giving me that inspiration, because when I go back, then I know what my job is to do for Krishna and to please Him.
Yeah. So even in material way, like, because when we are dealing with certain people, I mean, they might not be Krishna consciousness, but because not everybody is a devotee, right? So, and we have to deal with so many people outside, and it's sometimes challenging. So Prabhupada used to say that if you want to love a person, love his dog, and then person will love you automatically, right? So what we can do is, if we are challenges, we can try to find out what that person likes and try to see, please them, because sometimes we have to do it, because it's not that everything is, when we're in the temple, we are dealing with devotees, it's all related to Krishna. But when we are outside, also we can see the super soul in that, we can try to see that super soul in that person and see whether we cannot be harsh with that person, right? Like it happens, especially with the family, we take them for granted, we don't see that super soul within them, we try to shout, we shout at them, we shout at our kids, we fight with our wife and all those things, husband. So that process is, we have to be conscious, and that, as you said, like, if you can see, and that's a wonderful point you said, like, if we can try to see Krishna in them, and try to see how I can please Krishna and not try to be in a non-challenging way, then it will help us. And that's a very wonderful thought process that you had.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. It's okay, Prabhuji. So we'll break for Guru Puja. Anything you want to add, Prabhuji, for service attitude? He's my, like, we have a Bhakti Vriksha program, and like, where we connect, he's our resident speaker, so I always respect him very much. So last points, Prabhuji. What do you think? Yeah, what should be our attitude? If you sense.
Sorry, I was not in the lecture, but just off the top of my head, service attitude, which, personally from my experience, I feel is that sincerity is the most important thing. That we are not trying to do something to show somebody something, but it's really it should be a sincere attempt to please Krishna. The conditional, the constitutional position of every living entity is a part and parcel of Krishna, and the natural function is to work such that Krishna or the Supreme Absolute Truth is pleased. So if we are insincere, then it basically defeats the purpose of. So whatever we do, whatever little service we are able to offer, if we do it with a sincere heart, then Krishna acknowledges that and he accepts that. And if we try to show off, basically, then we basically cheat ourselves. So sincerity is the most important thing.
Yeah, thank you, Roji. So we'll now do the Guru Puja because it's 10 o'clock. And then today we also have book distribution all over the Bay Area. So if you got an opportunity, take this as an opportunity to serve Krishna in a positive way and try to do a little whatever you can. Hare Krishna. Jai Prabhupada. Yes, prayer, Guru Puja. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Shri Rana Padma Kevala Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Shri Guru Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Bando mui savadano mate Bando mui savadano mate Yahara prasade bhaye bhavato riyo jaya Yahara prasade bhaye bhavato riyo jaya Krishna prapti hoy yahan hoy te Krishna Krishna prapti hoy yahan hoy te Krishna prapti Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Koriyo Aikya Guru Arona Koriho Mane Asa Arona Arona Koriho Mane Asa Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati. Shri Guru ये प्रसाद पूरे सर्व आसा. ये प्रसाद ये प्रसाद पूरे सर्व आसा. ये प्रसाद सर्व आसा. चक्कु जान दिलो जय जन्मे प्रभु से. चक्कु जान दिलो चक्कु जान दिलो जय जन्मे प्रभु से. चक्कु जान दिलो जय जन्मे प्रभु से. दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो. दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो. दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो. दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो. प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाशा जाते. प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाशा जाते. प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाशा. वेदे गाय हरचरितो. वेदे गाय हरचरितो. वेदे गाय हरचरितो. वेदे गाय हरचरितो. श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आदम जनर बंधु. श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आदम जनर बंधु. श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आदम जनर. लोकेनाथ लोकेरा जीवाना. लोकेनाथ लोकेरा जीवाना. आहा प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पदो छाया. आहा प्रभु करो जया देह मोरे पदो छाया. हे बेजास गुसुक त्रिभुवाना. हे बेजास गुसुक त्रिभुवाना. श्रीला प्रभुपाद पतित पावन. श्रीला प्रभुपाद पतित पावन. गुरुदेव लोइलो शरण. गुरुदेव लोइलो शरण. जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा. जय प्रभुपदा. जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा. जय प्रभुपदा. जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद. जय जय प्रभुपाद. जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद. जय प्रभुपाद. जय जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव गुरुदेव. जय जय गुरुदेव. जय जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव गुरुदेव. जय जय गुरुदेव. निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल. निताय गौर हरि बोल. निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल. निताय गौर हरि बोल. नमः ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने. नमः ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Na Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Kali ko karo Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Kali Kukur Kadam Jadi Chao He Kali Kukur Kadam Jadi Chao He Kali Yoga Pavana Kali Vaya Nashana Sri Sachinandana Gao He Kali Yoga Pavana Kali Vaya Nashana Sri Sachinandana Gao He Gadadhar Madana Nityair Pranadana Advaitar Prapujita Gora Gadadhar Nityair Pranadhana Advaita Prapujita Gora Nimai Vishwambar Srinivasishwar Bhakta Samuha Chitta Chora Nimai Vishwambar Srinivasishwar Bhakta Samuha Chitta Chora Nadiya Sashadar Mayapurishwar Nama Pravartana Sura Nadiya Sashadar Mayapurishwar Nama Pravartana Sura गृहजन शिक्षक न्यासिकुल नायक माधव राधा भवपूरा गृहजन शिक्षक न्यासिकुल नायक माधव राधा भवपूरा सर्वभौम शोधन गजपति तारण रामानंद पोषण वीरा सर्वभौम शोधन गजपति तारण रामानंद पोषण वीरा रूपानंद वर्धन सनातन पालन हरिदास मोदन धीरा रूपानंद वर्धन सनातन पालन हरिदास मोदन धीरा व्रजरस भावन दुष्टमट शातन कपटी विघातन कामा व्रजरस भावन दुष्टमट शातन कपटी विघातन कामा शुद्ध भक्त पालन शुष्क ज्ञान तादन चल भक्ति दूषण रामा शुद्ध भक्त पालन शुष्क ज्ञान तादन चल भक्ति दूषण रामा कलियुग काली कुकुर कदन जड़ी चाओ हे काली कुकुर कड़न जड़ी चाओ हे हरिहराय नमः कृष्ण यादवाय नमः हरिहराय नमः कृष्ण यादवाय नमः यादवाय माधवाय केशवाय नमः यादवाय माधवाय केशवाय नमः गोपाल गोविंद राम श्री मधुसूदन गोपाल गोविंद राम श्री मधुसूदन गिरिधारी गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन गिरिधारी गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन श्री चैतन्य नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत सीता श्री चैतन्य श्री अद्वैत सीता हरि गुरु वैष्णव भागवत गीता हरि गुरु वैष्णव भागवत गीता श्री रूप श्री सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री रूप श्री सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ हे चाय गोसाई करी चरण वंदन ये चाय गोसाई वंदन जहाँ होते विघ्न नाश अभिष्टा पुराण जहाँ होते विघ्न नाश अभिष्टा पुराण हे चाय गोसाई जार मोई तारो दास हे चाय गोसाई मोई तारो दास तान सबर पद रेणु मोरा पंचग्रास तान सबर पद रेणु मोरा पंचग्रास तांदेरा चरण से भक्त सनेवास तांदेरा चरण से भक्त सनेवास जाना में हो ये अभिलाष जाना हो ये अभिलाष हे चाय गोसाई जाबे ब्रज कोइलावास हे चाय गोसाई जाबे ब्रज को राधा कृष्ण नित्य लीला करिलो प्रकाश श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण नित्य करिलो प्रकाश आनंद बोलो हरि भज वृंदावन आनंद बोलो हरि आनंद बोलो हरि भज वृंदावन आनंद बोलो हरि भज वृंदावन श्री गुरु वैष्णव पदे मजयमन श्री गुरु वैष्णव यमन Shri Guru Vaishnava Pada Padma Koriya, Shri Guru Vaishnava Pada Koriya, Hari Nam Sankirtan Kahe Narottam Das, Hari Nam Sankirtan Kahe Narottam Das, Hari Nam Sankirtan Kahe Narottam Das, Hari Nam Sankirtan Kahe Narottam Bajore Bajore Jaya Govinda Gopala Hare Bajore Jaya Govinda Gopala Hare Radhe Govinda Radhe Govinda Radhe Govinda, Radhe Govinda, Radhe Gopala, Radhe Gopal, Radhe Gopala, Radhe Bajore Bhaja Govinda Gopala Hare Bajore Bhaja Govinda Gopala Hare Radhe Govinda Radhe Radhe Govinda Radhe Govinda Radhe Gopala Radhe Radhe Gopala Radhe Gopala Radha Gopinata Radha Gopi Radha Madan Mohan Radha Radha Shama Sundar Kishore Kishori Radha Vrindavan Chandra
Radha Shama Chandra
Radha Gopinata
Radha Gopinata
Radha Gopinada,
Radha Gopinata
Radha Vrindavan Chandra
Radha Vrindavan Chandra
Radha Gopi Chandan
Radha Gokul Chandra
Radha Gopinatha,
Radha Gopinata
Radha Kunja Bihari,
Radha Kunja Bihari
Radha Madan Mohan
Radha Madan Mohan
Radha Vrindavachandra,
Radha Vrindavan Chandra
Radha Govind Chandan
Radha Govinda Chandra
Radha Shama Sundar,
Radha Shama Sundar
Radha Kanta
Radha Kanta
Radha Banka Bihari
Radha Banki Bihari
Gandharvika Giridhari
Gandharvika Giridhari Radha Govinda Radha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Mahaprabhu 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 Jai Mahaprabhu Jaya Mahaprabhu Jaya Mahaprabhu Mahaprabhu Jaya Mahaprabhu Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radhe Jaya Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jai Shri Radhe Jaya Radhe Jayo Radhe, Jayo Radhe, Jayo Shri Radhe, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakaacharya Stotra Sataj Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakaacharya Stotra Sataj Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की जय। श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय, मथुरा धाम की जय, मायापुर नवदीप धाम की जय, अयोध्या धाम की जय, जगन्नाथपुरी क्षेत्र की जय, गंगा मई यमुना मई की जय, तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की जय, सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय, ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada Nithai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. So Hare Krishna everybody, we thank you all for coming down for this Monday morning, Saturday morning Bhagavatam class, and we also welcome all the viewers who are online. So today, I mean, this is the first week when Vaishnav Prabhu is in India now, in Govardhan. So we all are like waiting, separated from him, but from next week we have this Damodar month, Kartik month that is starting. So it starts from Wednesday, and any activity that we do in spiritual activity during the Damodar month, in the Kartik month, is magnified. You get the spiritual benefits is magnified many times. So if required, I mean, there will be a program every day in the temple where we'll have the Damodar Ashtakam in the evenings, where we can light the ghee lamp. But we can also, if you cannot come to the temple, you can offer a ghee lamp at your homes, and you can sing the Damodar Ashtakam prayers, which is available online. You can sing that daily in the evening, and if required in the morning also. And try to do some austerity like chanting more rounds or reading more of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, something. Because any spiritual activity that you do, you'll get the results many times, and your progress in Krishna consciousness will be much more faster. So today is auspicious Ekadashi day, and today we have 3 places where we are going to do book distribution. One is in Santana Row. There is I think a Diwali Mela there. And then there's a kids book distribution in Sunnyvale. You can contact Kameshwari Mataji for that. And there's a door-to-door book distribution in Pleasanton. So you can contact Malini Mataji. She is leading that program. And you can also contact Sri Krishna Purushottam Prabhu if you need more information. Any other Prabhuji? So now we'll go for Prasadam prayers. And then tomorrow we have a special program. The class is given by Sundaranand Prabhu. It will be on Damodar Leela. So it will be nice to hear the story of Damodar Leela, how Yashoda, Mother Yashoda tries to bind Krishna, and how he delivers, and how he is not bound by her in spite of bringing all the ropes, and how he delivers Nalakovera. So the whole song and the meaning of it and the whole story will be told by Sundaranand Prabhu tomorrow. So it will start at 4 p.m. So please come to the temple tomorrow evening at 4 p.m. And we'll have Prasadam prayer, and the Prasadam will be served in the, most likely in the inside room somewhere. महाप्रसादे गोविंद महाप्रसादे शरीरा विद्या जल जड़ेन्द्रियता हे काल जीव फैले विषय सागरे तारो मध्य जीव होती लोभमय सुदुर्मति ताके जेटा कठिन संसारे कृष्ण बड़ा दयामय करिबारे जीव जाय स्वप्रसाद अन्न दिलो भाई शयनामृत पावो राधा कृष्ण गुण गावो प्रेमे दाको श्री चैतन्य नीताय प्रेमे दाको श्री चैतन्य नीताय महाप्रसादे गोविंदे नमो ब्राह्मणे वैष्णवे स्वल्प पुण्यवतं राजन् विश्वासो नैव जायते प्रसादे सर्व दुःखानां हानिरस्योपजायते प्रसन्नचेतसि अस्यु बुद्धि पर्यवतिष्ठस्ते भगवत श्री महाप्रसादम की जय. Please come and take prasadam and then join for book distribution. Sir, both the rooms are full. Then we'll serve it outside then. So for the online viewers, this concludes the program, and please come tomorrow for the Sunday evening class. Thank you. Hare Krishna.